we can just switch for the next match.
Yep, that works. I was like, Annie. Honestly, I just didn't know what kind of styling you really had to casting.
I actually am versatile, so I can do both. I can do analysis as well as play by play, whatever it is needed. I like to make sure that my fellow caster is actually comfortable in whatever role they prefer, and that way I could just barge in and just add to whatever it is that you're gonna do. So yeah, I'm comfortable doing either or.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Okay. My Spotify doesn't want to work apparently. Let's go. Spotify application not responding. Oh, well, that's not fucking good. Oops. Why isn't Spotify coming out? Oh, time to bring up YouTube.
You can do it.
Oh, we will be having music going into season 2 too, by the way. I will have plays of music starting next week.
Let's go
for our own league.
Oh no!
Yeah, I'm freaking excited about it. We'll just play some.
Just rocking that copyright.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to the UWC League. We are gladly to announce our brand new updated logo looking nice, fresh, and clean. I am super excited about getting this up and ready to go. As well, we also have sub badges as well, which is greatly done fantastic. It is basically each and every one of these Pokemon, you build it all the way up until you have the final logo of the league. So we started off with Raikou, and then we go on to Entei, on to Suicune, because I think Suicune is probably the best out of all three. That is a personal take on that. And then we have Ho-Oh, and then Lugia, and then as the 1 year sub badge, it is all 5 of the greatest Pokemon in Pokemon, as I want to say it. I love all 5 of these Pokemon, and I feel like these are just the best ones to represent Pokemon Unite. So this is going to be your sub badges, and that is greatly so. Without further ado, we are in round 1, baby, but I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to the 2 best casters for day 1 of the tournament, and you have Animated Eagle and Chopper PR. Say hello and say welcome.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Rhino. This is going to be Chopper on the right side, and to the other side, we're going to have the great Animated Eagle. Animated Eagle, how you doing tonight? Everything okay?
I'm doing good. How about you, Chopper?
I am doing very well because we're just starting off with the playoffs of the Unite World Coronation League season number 1. A couple of banger sets that we're going to have today in a gauntlet format to go further into a top 4, which will be double elimination.
Let's go, Team Drip for the win! Not biased or anything.
Not biased at all, but just in case you had any type of doubts corresponding with the formats, it is as follows. We have 10 teams currently competing in a bracket, and production actually bringing up the beautiful bracket right now. Team Aura Esports and Elite Force are going to be the first matchup we're going to see today. Wasted Potential will then go up against the winner of that match, and then we go directly into round 3, and the winner of that match of round 2 actually faces Jungle Griefers to qualify for that top 4 double elimination bracket.
Yep, and then come tomorrow, Friday, we'll be seeing the B grouping. Those 3 matches featuring Team Rocketo versus Super Squirtle Squad for right at the beginning, leading into round 2, which will be Team Drip, best team, hashtag, don't hate, versus the winner of that previous round, and then whoever wins out of those 2 teams will end up facing off against Dark Aura in round 3, leading up to our next games, which will happen. What date will that be again?
Uh, could you
I
repeat
believe
that again?
round 4 matches will start off. What is it? The following week,
Yeah,
sometime in
it will be the
April.
following week. We do have, yeah,
Next
next
Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay, good.
Double elimination bracket. Ikigai no Tsurugi and War Legion are currently just waiting until the gauntlet matches are going to be finished today and tomorrow. It's going to be pretty exciting overall as we go into the next type of situations that we currently have. Now, Animated Eagle, we do have a couple of changes in the corresponding Pokemon that are available tonight, particularly Zacian and Clefable not being able to be chosen for this week.
Thank God for that. Oh my gosh, I've seen so many Zacians in my ranked games. I'm so happy I can at least come to the UWC League to not have to deal with that monster at all.
Yeah, and Clefable also being one of the Pokemon that's currently bugged as well. But for the rest of the Pokemon that are available right now, it's going to be super important. So a lot of supports are actually going to start getting a lot more priority considering that Clefable is not going to be available. Comfy is still there, Blizzy's still there, Eldegoss is still going to be available. Delphox, which was an important tool, specifically in a meta animated eagle that I consider to be a lot more heal based. Somebody like Delphox is going to be super important to actually bring up some sort of counter meta to any type of healing or recoveries that you're going to have available.
Yep, I totally agree with you, Chopper. I'm sorry, Delphox being banned the week prior, just as a player, it made the strategies for these pick and ban systems so much harder and so much more important leading into these matches. This is going to be a mon. Delphox has always been one of the mons throughout these weeks being either picked or banned on either sides. So the fact that it was perma banned last week, you're going to see a massive difference this week now that it's available.
Yeah, I agree with you as well. Speaking of that, we do have other Pokemon that are currently rising up in the ranks in solo queue. We did mention Zacian actually being a menace just to try to continue to escalate onto the master ranks of the game. But additional to that, we have seen a lot more priority on the defender side. Slowbro actually taking an increasing amount of priority as the meta continues to develop.
Yep, Slowbro being one of the best answers to Zacian, being the ultimate, make Zacian not play the game for a few seconds, then hoping that your team can destroy it with all the damage. But even in the sense of UWC without Zacian, I think Slowbro is still going to be a dominant pick because it makes great play in the in a pick and draft format. You're able to first pick that mon, and then you can either use it as your supporting mon or your defending mon. It works both either way. Another defender that I really like to see right now, and I think is going to have a really high priority in these games, is going to be Trevenant. Those
Okay.
buffs to
Yeah.
Trevenant were incredibly powerful. Woodhammer is now one of the best moves this mon can have, and I am very interested to seeing how teams how they prioritize this pick.
Yeah, the defenders seem to be in a very good spot currently, as well as the supporters. And then we go to the all-rounders section. It feels like they've slowly been falling out of favor. Mostly in the compositions that we currently have been seeing. T-Tar, if you're going to go for the Protect the President comp. We have seen a lot of Machamp, for example. Serena hasn't been that used that much often, but obviously you also have the Urshifu, which is one of the best Pokemon in the game. So what do you think of the status of the all-rounders currently in the meta?
All-rounder status is I feel like a very contested area. You have Blastoise being run as an all-rounder on a lot of teams. One thing that we hadn't brought up yet, but Scyther and Scizor are available for play for the first time, I think, since this week started. That mon's been banned for so long, so maybe we'll be able to start seeing some more Scizors up in the top lane. What is it? Dodrio is also a really good top laner that we've been typically seeing over there. And then you always have your counter meta picks like Garchomp and stuff seeing some success. I do believe my team on Team Drip is one of the only teams running a Garchomp every now and then for these picks and bans draft, but I would love to see some more Garchomp enjoyers in these games.
Yeah, especially when people do not expect Gibble in particular to be so strong in the early game. If you go give it a rapid fire scarf, it does deal an increasing amount of damage. So if you pair it up with a good support, Gibble can do a lot of damage, especially if you're going to run it in lane. And now that you mentioned Dodrio as well, the speedsters seem to be having fallen off the wayside just for a little bit. Um, Characters like Zeraora are not quite often. Like you mentioned beforehand, only the Dodrio seeing a lot of play. Zoroark, while they did receive a buff in the late game, it did receive a nerf in the early game. So speed search seemed to actually be low on the priority side when it comes to rounding up the team compositions.
I do agree with you there. The speedsters are just a rough role to kind of fill in and unite. I feel like Tencent, Timmy, they haven't quite nailed what they want from the speedster role in general. I mean, outside of your outliers being the Zoroark and the Dodrio that we've been talking about. One thing that they do have going for them though is that they become really great answers into hacker formats and what's heavily prioritized in attackers being like your Espeons and your Decidueyes and those kinds of mons, those really squishy, Pokemons that feel almost unstoppable in this game without maybe like a Dodrio to quickly run back there and just
Mhm.
like one shot it.
Yeah, and that actually moves us nicely onto the attacker section, which is obviously some of the favorites when it comes to a lot of the play that we've seen throughout season one of the tournaments. Delphox being available, a lot of Decidueye prio. Now with the buffs that Espeon has received, that's getting a lot of more prio. Obviously, mainstays like Greninja and Cinderace are still going to be threats, especially since people are so used to just playing the characters overall. Do you have a standout attacker that you're expecting people to actually prioritize this time around?
I believe Espeon will be the standout attacker. That Mon right now, since it's been buffed, is so dominant in lane. It feels like if you have that Mon in your bot lane, you will win bot lane. It's the dominant attacker, I feel like, in lane that's just going to guarantee you win that lane.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the rest of the attackers are still going to be pretty much a nuisance. What I do find curious, Animated Eagle, with the debut of Comfy just a little while back, uh, Pokemon like Decidueye, for example, have actually gone and risen up in priority just because they're going to have a lot more sustain when it comes to actually having those team fights. So if you have a good Decidueye that starts really just poking away with the Spirit Shackle or just starts draining the tank's health away with Razor Leaf, I feel like it's just one of those attackers that slowly but surely has been, climbing up the ranks of the meta. Or do you have any other attacker that you think, hey, maybe this one, in regards to DPS, for example, could be a major factor when it comes to, tournament play?
No, I would have to agree with you. Decidueye is, I think, one of the dominant, like, as far as attackers go, I really like Decidueye in the jungle role, being able to get that level 7 pretty much guaranteed, and then worrying about if they are trying to stack an attack weight or something, they can worry about it whenever they try to go into lane. But it's a dominant performing pick. Another shout out to another evolution is, I think, Glaceon is another really good burst damage mon that you can have in the jungle. I'm really curious to see what the dominant jungle pick is we're going to be seeing in these games, especially since now we have Delphox back into here, and Delphox was primarily being played in the jungle when it was available previously.
And those types of picks are also super important when it comes to the draft phase, which, for those of you who don't know, we do have a different system in the Pokemon Unite World Coronation League. Instead of using the draft mode that we currently have in game, we have our own system in a separate sheet that the captains currently just placed the bands on both sides, which is going to be 3 bands per team, and then they slowly but surely try to pick the corresponding characters. Characters cannot be repeated, and it's a lot more similar to a game like Dota or League of Legends, for example. Just getting the teams the ability to actually adapt a lot more to what they're gonna see in Thea Sky Ruins, as well as making sure that one tricks don't happen that much, which is some of the more interesting exchanges that we saw from the beginnings of the first weeks of the league.
Hidden. Yep. We were just previously talking about how, especially how a lot of these banned mons that we've had in the game, how they're suddenly now free coming out for this league format or for these final this final matches. We were talking about stuff like not Sableye and Scyther and Scizor now finally being able to get played. What is your favorite mon that you're going to be seeing that's been banned that you're excited to be seeing gameplay of? I can totally see your point there. I'm actually more excited for what is it, Scyther being played. That mon has been such a dominant performing mon as a jungler. Really looking forward to seeing how it will be played and how teams will utilize it. It is one of the scariest speedsters that we have in the game, and I think it is the scariest speedster that we have in the game with the ability of dual wing beat. If you go the swords, if you go sword stance, being able to increase your damage output by 15%, or choosing to try to go for resets with double hit, like that mon has always been incredibly strong since it's been buffed a few weeks ago, and it's still I feel like it's still going to prove a lot of dominant performances this tournament play.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see more say to less. Like Hoopa hasn't been banned a lot, but yet Hoopa still hasn't been played. And I'm a big Hoopa fan. I'm a big supporter fan overall, and we're banning these other supports rather than banning the most mobile Pokemon to move your entire team across the map without having an issue. Just to gank up a lane if you're struggling in a different one. I think the other way that since Hoopa isn't being played and why they haven't been able to do things, it's kind of very interesting on why Hoopa isn't being used.
I feel like Hoopa's one of those mons, and this is just my opinion, so correct me if I'm wrong. But we're currently in. Would you agree that we're in a very much heal-based meta? Like we're definitely in like a healer meta where it feels like your healing mons, your bulky mons are incredibly important to a team. One of the primary reasons why I feel like Hoopa is kind of struggling as far as getting picked up is that you need a very specific kind of team comp to center around a Hoopa. And I feel like a lot of these other team comps are more so prioritizing really strong healers, whether you're trying to run like a T-Tar comp, so you want to have a Comfey to match with that T-Tar to really give that T-Tar the sustainability, or if you're just going for like a general bulky comp, it used to be that Clefable was a really good matchup for it. For those like incredibly bulky comps, because Clefable just had that 4-second group heal that was constantly going off through the game. I do agree with you that Hoopa is an incredibly strong mon, but it just always feels weird trying to fit Hoopa into a pick and ban team comp without having the ability. You would really need to be able to ensure that you get the right team comp going in with the Hoopa, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I completely agree on that aspect at least. I mean, obviously the Pokemon is very good and very broken and can be very utilized in certain ways, but yeah, it just trying to fit it in separate comps as much as like a Comfy can easily be put in because it can latch on, right, and it can easily carry some mons. Hoopa really has to rely on either off laning at certain times because it needs to get level 9 by the second objective, and do other things. I feel in a way that Hoopa, I think, only fits in 2 or 3 comps, and that was when Hoopa came out, and that's why Hoopa was so good. Right now, you have so many good defenders that can self-sustain for themselves a lot more, or the preferred builds, honestly, than before, than when we had Hoopa in. And with these new items too, it's kind of, it's very, very disheartening.
Yeah, one of my other things that I'll notice is that since Hoopa's been released, Hoopa had a dominant performance in Worlds and stuff during Season 1 of the actual World stage. But since then, we've been given so many other incredibly good supports, and the meta has shifted so much since then that Hoopa just feels like it's not nearly as dominant as a support as you would want. I mean, just think about it. Since then, we've managed to get Sableye added into the game, which, by the way, Sableye isn't permanent banned this season, so expect to see some of those in these games. Again, what we talked about previously with the Comfey, an incredibly strong healer in the game, even though Fable is going to be banned for this week. Clefable is another new healer mon that just got that we were just previously talking about. And then one of the things that we were talking about before being Slowbro that we were talking about previously being such a strong defender and support for the team just because of its ultimate. It's so good in the draft format, just running a Slowbro, because then you can either slot it in as a support or defender. So now it's kind of wiggled its way into being one of those things that contends for the support slot. And then it looks like we have hit the 7:15, 8:15 marking here. So this is going to end up being a Game 1 victory for Team Aura Esports. As it seems like EXP Elite Force did not show all their members here.
Yeah.
Today.
It's very disheartening. Apparently, one of them had to work until 7:30 and wasn't telling anybody. But with that said, yep. So Team Aura Esports has won Game 1. Unfortunately, in a bracket like this or in a tournament like this, it is a weird one to see, as Elite Force has to give up their Game 1. This is a best of 3 format. So they do have to technically, Team Aura Esports still has to win 2 more games. It's not, it's never in their favor. They do just, but this kind of goes to a point where Team Aura Esports can easily go into honestly, easily, just a rip comp and hope to God they can pick it, right? So if they can ban, if Elite Four is smart enough, they can ban that Duraludon to go into the fact of like they can't rip, and like I would ban Duraludon, ban Glaceon, basically ban both, and not worry about any of the other broken Pokemon and try to pick those up for yourselves.
Yeah, if I was Team Aura Esports, knowing that you now have this Game 1 victory, you are basically down. And again, this is before they've even played one match against them. If I was Team Aura Esports, if Game 2 does end up happening, I would be down to choose a very aggressive pick and just be on them like butter, making sure that you are being incredibly aggressive, making sure that you can get those, try to see if you can just win a win off of aggression, since now you have this one game advantage.
Yeah, this one game advantage is definitely going to be in the factor of Team Aura Esports, but I want to say this, like, both of these teams are equally matched. They're not one-sided literally at all. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least, for both of the teams. and to get that to help, I guess I should say. As you guys go ahead, and I am not Chopper, but I am myself. But I am gonna go ahead and fill in for Chopper for right now, as he's trying to get his team set up and ready to go, and that's very disheartening, for to say the least, as that is Chopper's team. So right now, I am going to be here and helping up.
Okay.
So yeah. As of right now, I don't know. I did tell him he is eligible to play with them. Just dude, he was on the roster since the beginning. The 3 eligibility games did not matter since he was on a roster with them since the beginning. So with that, it's definitely, it is what it is.
Yeah. Moving on, here you go. Here's a question for you while we stall for time.
Yeah.
What is
Unfortunate.
going to be your most unexpected mon that you think won't get played? What mon do you think won't get played, but you would be surprised if it does?
A mon that won't get played and has actually never been picked in this game.
Oh, give us the stats.
Yeah.
I want to know a mon that hasn't been played yet this series. What is that mon? I'll play it tomorrow.
It's actually one of the attackers. I want to say it's no, it's not attacker. It's Zero Aura. Zero Aura. Yeah,
right.
Zero Aura has not
Team
been played.
Zero Aura game 1. That's Tim. Support Zero Aura coming to a Unite tournament near you. Ready for it?
But yeah, they definitely don't. Yeah, we haven't seen Zero Aura. We haven't actually seen. We've seen Zorak. We've seen Gengar. What's the other? We've seen Absol. I know there's another one.
You seem I almost called it Braviary. You seem Talonflame.
Have we seen Talonflame?
I feel like we should have seen Talonflame.
I don't think we've seen any Talonflame actually.
All right, never mind.
Yeah, no team has played
for the birds. As the original eagle here, I have to represent for the birds. Tomorrow, next stream, support Talonflame coming to a game near you.
Oh no.
Support Talonflame coming to a game near you.
I think attacker-wise, I know we're missing a Pokemon on that as well.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not Cramorant. Because
I want to say it's Ninetales.
No.
Yeah.
No, Ninetales has been played.
No, I don't think. I don't think
I played support Ninetales during one of these weeks. I know for a fact I played support Ninetales.
No, I don't think we've had. No, I don't think we've had Ninetales yet.
All right, screw it. You just figured out my 3
Hold on, I gotta go to Unite DB real quick because I know there's some. I know I'm missing something. Unite DB.
I know for a fact Ninetales has been played. We've definitely had a freeze lane. I've definitely gone up against freeze lane. Crustle has been played.
Crustle has definitely been played. Yes.
I've played Garchomp. I've played Garchomp for the past 2 or 3 weeks of this league.
I think maybe one person played Dragonite and it's on a 0% win. What? Yeah, one person has played Dragonite and it's on a 0% win.
Squirtle, way to represent Squirtle. Squirtle and our team played Dragonite last week. I don't know if we lost that game or not, but
I think yeah, y'all did lose that game. That was the game against Jungle Griefers.
Yeah, that was game 3 against.
Yep, that was game 3. So Dragonite's only been picked once. I think no, Aegislash was played at the beginning of the season. I know we're missing somebody. I think Serena.
All right, Zarina makes sense. Zarina definitely. If I was to rate all the all-rounders in the game, I would put Zarina at the lowest here on all-rounders.
Yep, Serena.
Yeah, Zarina. I'm a little surprised that it hasn't been played, but I'm not. I'm kind of not surprised because I do rate it as the worst of the all rounders, at least right now in the game.
Yeah, all the
Are you
attackers.
sure? All right, are you, I know for a fact Ninetales has been played. Are you sure it's not Pikachu that hasn't been played?
No, Pikachu's been played a total of 7 times in the league. I have that one. I have that
no
one.
way.
Yes, I have that one.
I refuse to believe that Ninetales has not been played. I refuse to believe that Ninetales.
I think Ninetales is the only one that hasn't been played yet.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so crazy to me that Ninetales has not been played.
All the supporters were played. Yep, every single supporter was played except for I think. Oh no, Sableye was played. I think like twice.
Yeah,
Sableye has
the
a
2 seconds it's been unbanned.
Yeah,
It's been
Sableye has a 10% win rate.
Good. How many games?
2.
How do you have a 10% win rate?
I don't know. I didn't put it in.
Possible.
I did not put it in. So it's got a 50% rate. Yeah, 50%.
Win rate.
Yeah, 50%. Snorlax was played, Slowbro was played, Swine was played. Tree has only been played twice.
Austin Goats Gaming says my team played A9 at some point.
At some point.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's only been played once. We have no data on it. So I have no data on Ninetales right now.
Oh my god.
So yeah, we're missing
support Ninetales in a game near you.
Zero Aura and Talonflame are the only and Serena are the only 4 Pokemon that have literally like either 1 or 0 games.
Okay.
And then Ninetales, obviously.
Okay, one game is a lot higher than 0.
Yes.
All right. If you,
I said at least. I said at least. I'm so sorry about this, chat. I'm still waiting on the players. Okay, they have 5 players now. Are we getting ready to start hopefully some games here? And I'm so excited. Let's go. Go ahead and get game 2 going. Oh, let me mute my mic because all they hear is the clickety clack. Why don't you talk?
Good. Yeah, I heard the clickety clack all the way over on my end as well. Apparently, the clickety clacks have been out voicing me. Clearly, the stream wants to hear my voice more than some clickety clacks. My soft, sultry bird voice. Going on in here, we are getting ready to start off game 2 of EXP Elite Force versus Team Aura Esports. You did not mute your mic, sir. Get out of here. Mute the clickety clack. Oh, okay. Okay, I see how it is. He muted it on stream. Y'all didn't hear it. I just had to be tortured. I just had to be tortured by the clickety clacks. All right, shifting on over. Picks and bans time, guys. EXP Elite Force versus Team Aura Esports. First game of this tournament setting, and let's go. Taking a look now at the brackets. Hold on, my producer is struggling to switch it over. Now he has. We are looking at bans here: a Blissey ban, a Trevenant ban, a Comfey ban. All things that I was expecting.
Honestly, not for game 2. I would expect this for game 1, 100%, but for game 2, I would have not, unless they're gonna try to go ahead and go for their own rip comp for Elite 4 and just try to do it that route. But
I expect this so much. Trevenant, Comfey, and Blissey are all dominant picks. If this is their first game fighting against each other, these were the picks I was expecting.
100%.
I see Team Aura Esports deciding to do a target ban of the Gardevoir and then picking up Espeon for themselves. Again, like I talked about earlier in the stream, Espeon, a dominant lane performer. You win whatever lane Espeon is in. There is almost no way to lose that lane.
There's absolutely no way. As
Yeah.
Snorlax and Duraludon, it looks like I said, Elite Four might have to go into their own route and try to get their
Get some rip going.
because if it's not flippity flappity time, it's clickety clackety time for Team Aura Esports.
Oh my gosh! All right, coming in here, we're seeing an Eldegoss pick up from Team Aura Esports. Really interesting pick. I see. There was a few other choices for supports right now in the game. I would have actually liked to have seen a Hoopa grab here instead of Eldegoss, but Eldegoss being one of the last actual healers on there, I can see why they would want to pick it up. Pick up the Eldegoss, be the only healing support in the game, and then grab an Urshifu, which is also a dominant performer. And then it looks like EXP Elite Force decides to pick up the Machamp that we've seen. A lot of Machamp has been just rising in the popularity. I definitely do not want to see no submission Machamps here. We do not need to be trolling, guys. This is the tournament time.
Do you want to hear the
game 2 tournament time?
Do you want to hear the bad news or the good news?
I want to hear. Give me the bad news first.
All right. So the bad news is EXP Elite Four has picked Machamp 100% of the time, and it has every single game has been submission Machamp.
And this is why they're going to lose this match. I'm sorry to tell you. Well, what else can we say here? Banning the Hoopa. Actually, we're all right. Back onto the focus here. Glaceon getting picked up as the ban for EXP Elite Four, and Hoopa being the ban for Team Aura Esports. That's a great ban for Team Aura Esports. Banning that such a strong support that they're deciding to ban out here to stop them from doing weird stuff coming in on EXP Elite Four. I see that they removed their ban. And chose Wigglytuff. I'm thinking that they messed up and somebody accidentally. Yeah, it looks like they just a little misclick happened there.
Gotcha. They probably got ahead of themselves. Yeah, they probably got ahead of themselves, which is perfectly fine.
Yep. It looks over here, Wigglytuff getting chosen. I can only imagine that being chosen as their support.
Yeah,
so
that would probably be their support. Machamp obviously is their all-rounder.
Yeah, I would have much preferred a Slowbro pickup out of instead of the Wigglytuff. But then there you go. There's a Mamoswine coming out of Team Aura Esports here. And
Slowbro isn't banned.
Yep, Slowbro's not banned. I was surprised it's actually gone this far in. What I was going to say earlier was I liked the Hoopa ban, but I also wouldn't have mind a Slowbro ban. But either one works, and they're going to get the benefit out of both of them. Since EXP Elite Four is not going to pick the Slowbro here.
Yeah, I'm very disheartening of the Wigglytuff pick, as Chopper is playing on EXP Elite Four. So
don't hate on the Wigglytuff, man. Wigglytuff still go crazy.
Double EVs.
Yeah, okay. Double EVs coming out of here. We see the Sylveon pick up as Team Aura's last pick.
Ooh.
With Cinderace coming out for EXP.
Huge rip comp.
Yeah, definitely interesting grabs I'm seeing here. A lot of interesting choices. One thing I'm wondering is if we're going to see a Urshifu jungle out of Team Aura Esports, or are they going to run a double EV jungle? And then I think EXP, they have just one plain strategy, and that is to rip the objectives as fast as possible, get them off the map, get a level lead off of that really fast clear that they have, and win the game off of it. Use Machamp ulti to give them a incredibly powerful ults come these late game team fights, and try to win off the back of that. Definitely interesting choices coming out of either side. I'm not sure how much I like the Espeon grab as for Team Aura Esports. I know that it's a good synergy with their comp, but I feel like it doesn't quite synergize, or it doesn't really quite go well up against the EXP Elite Four. One of the things I'm curious about is whether or not this Sylveon will be going screaming, whether it'll be screaming at our opponents or whether it'll be hitting them with that mystical fire. What do you think?
I would like for the Sylveon to actually go Mystical Fire lane with the Eldegoss and have the SB with the Mamoswine on both of them together, as that would just be a dominant lane, obviously, just because of all the CC and pretty much the high damage that both of them could put out. I want to see Urshifu in the jungle. I feel like that would probably be where it's best at. And this Sylvie, I want it to tank. The only reason why I want it to tank is because if it could tank hard enough, it can get back there to that Duraludon and kill it. And basically stay on top of that Duraludon the entire time and 1v1 it.
My one worry about that is, so Mystical Fire Sylveon is an incredible tank. Only against special attackers, I believe. Mystical Fire only decreases the special attack of opponents.
Right.
And you're looking down the barrel of 4 physical attackers and 1 Wigglytuff. So the only thing you're really going to be reducing the damage of is that Wigglytuff autos, and Wigglytuff isn't really doing much damage to begin with. So that's why I'm saying it doesn't.
I don't know, them
quite
slaps
look
hurt.
good into it.
Them slaps hurt.
Them slaps hurt.
Them slaps do hurt.
I don't know if they're hurting more than some Cinderace autos or some Duraludon autos, though, is my only question. So, I mean, it will be interesting to see. I will say Sylveon does have the early game advantage against EXP Elite Four's team. So I think this is going to depend. This game is definitely going to depend on whether or not EXP can get some of these objectives so they can start getting a level lead, or will Team Aura Esports just dominate this early game and destroy them going into the rest of the game?
Yeah,
looking here at the held item builds over here, interesting choices. I do not. Oh wait, no, that is a spoon on the Espeon here.
Ooh.
I'm seeing a spoon on the Espeon. I'm seeing spoons on the Sylveons. I'm liking me some spoonage. And
explain what Spoon does, because this old fool over here is still used to all the old items and is still not used to the 2 new ones that have been introduced. So,
okay,
please enlighten me what the spoon does. So spoon me.
Are very powerful items for special attackers. Definitely, the special ability of the Twisted Spoon is that will give all of your special attacks a 20% penetration. So penetration in a MOBA game means that it will negate 20% of the opponent's defenses on every kind of special attack. So that'll be your boosted autos, which are counted as special damage, as well as all of your abilities on them. So it's a very powerful item. Also, the stats on the item is great. It is the only, I believe, special-oriented item that gives you HP, so it's very powerful in that sense. That's giving you damage and HP, so you can think of it as like a better version of like weakness policy.
As a better version it is, and we have the Machamp gonna go ahead, or the Machop gonna go ahead and secure the neutral farm and getting its 1 stack of Roonies. As it's going to go ahead and XP it away. The Snorlax is trying to get away, and yes, it will. Both of them are going to respect each other, and the A pressing is for real. As I did say it, Sylveon and Espeon will be together, or Sylveon and Gossifer will be together.
Yep, one of the things that we were talking about beforehand, which was whether or not it's going to be a Scream Sylveon or not. It is a Scream Sylveon. And that eject button felt a little weird. That was a weird dive into that eject. Felt a little weird, but we are seeing a...
I don't know if that was weird or if that was cute charm.
Oh, it could have been cute charm, but they ejected. Maybe it was a flick back. I don't know. It's weird because they definitely used an eject. That wasn't like cute charm. They definitely ejected into that group of 3.
As Duraludon's gonna go down here as she just screams her way and takes that to KO, as we have 3 members of Aura Esports here at the top trying the Urshifu's gonna go in, get some couple little RKOs in here, gets
So another addition to that early game power that Team Aura Esports has Here. They are going to be showing a dominant performance in that top lane, forcing the enemy top laners to back up entirely. And now Water Urshifu is going to start trying to rotate back into their jungle. We see Sylveon went and took blue buff before rotating over for these 8-minute Bs here. And now we're going to see Scream to win as the eject to try to run away here. We're seeing all 5 members of EXP Elite Force came over to those mid Bs, killed the 2 people, and now they're going to collapse on this bottom lane. Honestly, I feel like that was a really bad play on Team Aura Esports here. They really needed to have all 5 members show up. They didn't really get anything else out of that bot lane, and now EXP is looking very strong for this bottom objective, which is exactly what they need to win this game.
Exactly what they need is right, and Aura Esports has gone up for that Regieleki about 100% of their games, so you're only going to see them continuously possibly just keep doing that as they have won some games doing that. Obviously they got into the tournament or into the end of the season tournament, so with that they're probably just going to continue with what they're doing and just keep dominating that top lane as they're going to go rip this Registeel and get some huge defense buffs.
Yep, we're seeing a Registeel getting ripped for it, so it's not going to give you a defense buff, but it will give you some really good attack damage here coming in for this.
I got them mixed up.
Them as they get this advantage as they try to push in this Regieleki. Again, I understand that this is a play that's worked for them. I really would have liked to have seen Team Aura Esports, however, utilize that early game advantage that they had in order to get that bottom Reggie to at least stop EXP from getting those levels that team is so desperately asking for.
Yeah,
they are going to be able to get a quick kill on the Cinderace, however, and then come down here to get some more points on the board for them, as EXP just swaps with them and scores up in top lane. That's going to be a break for for Elite Four, and that's good. Not Elite Four. Ooh, my words. Aura. For Team Aura Esports, as EXP Elite Four is just going to leave that top lane low. Do they break here? It looks like that. No, they will just choose to just leave it on very low HP. Moving on to this mid-game section of the game, who do you think is in the stronger running right now? Looking at levels here, we're seeing level 10 from the Espeon, level 9 from the Urshifu, and then level 9 from the Eldegoss, with level 8s with the Mamoswine and the Sylveon, while EXP is actually showing a much higher level lead at level 10, and then 9s all around for the rest of them.
Yeah, as they're going to go ahead and just start doing some Dunkaroonies on the second node here. We're trying to figure out what both teams are trying to do, but it looks like they're gonna stick with that Regieleki, and as the rest of the team for Elite Force is down at the bottom. Let's see what this one is, and this is the Regirock. That is the defense, correct?
Yes, Regirock will increase your defense and special defense for a short period of time while you have the buff. We are going to see them now and go ahead and invade the jungle while Team Aura Esports decides to go and Rotom game their heart out. Let's see here. We have Urshifu now finding them out in their jungle. Let's see how they decide to play this out. We have ultimates coming out of the Duraludon, and that Urshifu is just going to say, nope, don't want that, and I'm going to get out of here. We have Eldegoss ulti coming out here as they go ahead and run away, as they've all just kind of just decided, like, no, we don't want none of this business. Let's see here. They are going to choose to break with a 21 overcap on the side of EXP, as Sylveon did go ahead and score a little bit more in this bottom T2.
Yeah, as they're going to go ahead and score on this bottom T2, as the players are going to be able to jump in, as they do have jump pad. Big Unite from the Wiggly. Machamp goes in with a huge Unite, and the Fists of Fury fasten out, and it's going to take 3 as it gets a triple kill for this Elite Force, and they look like they're going to probably get this game 2. Can they get this game 2 as they went ahead and got that game 1 loss?
Yep, we are looking at that here. A huge ultimate coming out of the Machamp here, and now they are looking incredibly powerful coming into this, getting close to this late game here. We're seeing level 12 on the Machamp, gonna be level 13. Level 12 on the Cinderace, also probably gonna be level 13 coming into these late game, while we're seeing not too bad of a level deficiency on the side of Team Aura Esports, with level 12 on the Espeon, with level 11 and level 10s around, so they're just about a little under a level under EXP Elite Force going into this late game gaming here. We are going to see that Team Aura Esports is going to, again, prioritize this top lane Lecky versus the bottom lane Reggie here, which honestly I will have to agree. And just so here's a quick question for you, Rhino. Do you know what that buff did for you?
Which one was that? I was not paying attention as somebody going ahead and messaged me.
It was Reggie. It was Reggie Ice.
Reggie Ice. I know that gives you health. Like a short time. It's like
health.
It gives you like a little bit of like a health boost, I guess.
Recovery.
Yes, there you go. That was what I was looking for. We don't read chat.
Every few seconds you're gonna get a small little burst of HP recovery. I think it's right around like 500 or so HP. And then we are seeing here the Machamp did get KO'd right at the 2-minute mark here. And then they're just going to choose to go ahead and push here as they caught him all choked up in there. It looks like there's a little bit of a split call coming out of Elite Four, out of Team Aura here, whether or not they wanted to rip or whether or not they wanted a team fight there, and that's going to be their downfall.
Yeah, that's going to be their downfall, is right as the whole team for Aura Esports go down, and Chopper himself gets a triple kill on this Cinderace and cleans as he's going to A-press his way, trying to get this big old Hondo burger going down.
Yes, they will indeed be able to do that, as it looks like this might be game here. Does Wigglytuff manage to score their points off? No, Wigglytuff does not manage to score, so not too big of a point deficit this game. Only about a 300-point deficit here, a little bit more than 300 points, so they will need to score 4 times in order to win this game here. Can they stop this 100 caps here? They do manage to stop it, forcing EXP to back off and go and retreat. But they do manage to get a kill while they're going back, and now they have 1 more minute to go to try to win this game for them. Honestly, though, I do not see this coming out for them. I think there's too many deaths, not enough points on the board for Team Aura to really wrap this up. Here's a quick question for you, Rhino. What do you think Team Aura needs to do in order to win the next game?
I would have liked for them to do what EXP Elite Force did. Literally go for a rip comp. You have a 50% chance of winning the game. But I really do want them to start going after this bottom objective. The top objective is not that important. If you're going to do the top objective, at least push it all the way up into that tier 2. You had time, you had plenty of time to literally push that all the way up to that tier 2 to get that tier 2 node out of the way, to where now the Regieleki would have been more potent going into the base.
Even then, it's still a struggle to try to push that into their tier 2, because they got that first Aleki, but enemy team got Registeel. And enemy team had ultis while their team wasn't, because they got Registeel. So that's both an attack buff and an ulti increase from them. Like, with this kind of team comp that Team Aura Esports were running for this, they definitely needed to go and try to play for the bottom objective, and they just did not succeed in doing that.
Sorry, chat. While I was clickety-clacking, I was trying to go ahead and say that, yeah, no, I completely agree. I think they need to get this bottom objective. The bottom objective is so good. It's basically your Dreadnought, even better with the buffs that you can get from it as well. And it just, even if your team fight loses on the first one, it still isn't, going to matter or do anything different to where you might, like, it's basically... It's literally the first remote stadium. It's literally remote stadium all over again. If you go to the bottom objective, even if you don't win it, you still have a chance to come back and get the second one. Like, if you keep playing that way, you're still going to be able to win this game. You're still going to be able to keep going. As I'm still trying to learn exactly which each and every one of these Regis. I think that was just ridiculous to add 3 different Pokemon, but I do like the what's it called, the RNG of each and every one. But they still give you the same amount of levels.
Yep, it still gives you the same amount of EXP for the team. Those objectives are just so important, especially early on. Any one of those objectives early on, those bottom Reggies, are super important. Those first ones are going to be the ones that dictate whether or not your defenders especially, or your supports are going to be able to get their ultimates coming into that mid game. That if they're going to be, that's going to be the objective that decides who gets their ultimates first.
Yeah, it's going. Like I said, this is going to be kind of interesting. Going into these picks and bans, as it looks like they're going to go ahead and start it off, and we have the Blissey right off the rip. Oh, let me go back to the other
right
one.
Off the rip.
Yep.
And we see what's going to come up over here for EXP Elite 4. Again, I want to see EXP Elite 4 if they're going to choose to go to be Alecki gamers. They need to have a comp centered around it. I want to see a score comp like team comp that's going to be utilizing that Alecki so much, being able to utilize that Alecki pressure. I need to see Gradients. I need to see Dodrios. I mean, even a Sableye would be nice if you're trying to utilize a team comp that's around scoring bases and getting pressure off of Reggie Alecki. As well as if they are going to be trying to play the style of not utilizing their early game advantages, then they need to be instead choosing to have mons that are more centered around late game oriented. They can't be running the Sylveons and Espeons of the world if they're not going to make use of them in the early game when they are the most powerful.
Yeah, you need to obviously prioritize their levels to get them to that point right away. Obviously, give them like pretty much everything, or put 2 EXP shares in either lane. I think it comes down to the picks that Team Aura Esports is doing. They chose Eldegoss when there's Hoopa. Like I feel like their team draft probably would have been better with the Hoopa if they felt like they were gonna lose that bottom objective right away like that. They could have easily just rotated up. Like I don't understand why these teams just ain't focusing on the better supports.
I mean, it just is what it is. Eldegoss is still a very powerful support in the right hands and in the right team comp. I did like Eldegoss as far as their team comp goes. It was a better choice as a support, or at least denying the EXP from being able to pick that Eldegoss, which they are choosing to pick now. It just comes down to, I feel like, the metagame plays that Team Aura Esports did last game, I feel like lost in the game. They had such a dominant performance right there at the beginning of the game, but choosing to go for the Alecki instead of the bottom lane Reggie just lost in the game right then, because it allowed for EXP Elite Force to come back into the game, get all the levels that they needed, and then dominate late game, because now that was a team that definitely needed all the levels that they can get under their belt. They were running 3 mons that were late game mons, being the Machamp, the Cinderace, and the Duraludon, which, by the way, we are seeing a Machamp coming out of EXP Elite 4 again. By the way, speaking of, Rhino, that Machamp was not running submission last game.
No, which was very interesting.
Good job to EXP for choosing to go for the better build of Dynamic Punch. I had faith in y'all.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see the Dynamic Punch out of Robs, as they've been 100% been going this submission Machamp, and I just messaged him and said, hey, you missed the script and you didn't do the submission. He said, oh, all right, bet. So let's hope, going into game 3, they decide to go with that submission Machamp, as we all love to see.
Oh my gosh, get out of here. Taking a look over here at these picks and bans. Sorry. And then we saw Cinderace getting picked up with a Mamoswine versus as well. Really interesting teams coming out of both lanes. Team Aura Esports still choosing to utilize that Espeon grab. Again, a very dominant early game Pokemon, as well as Pikachu, another attacker. I really want to be seeing I want to see a jungler coming out of here. But it looks like we are not going to be seeing that coming out of Team Aura Esports. That is a real question here. We are seeing the Hoopa grab out of them, But I don't know what Team Aura Esports, who's their jungler in this team comp?
So I wrote the script this morning, and I had to give it to them, and I'm really like I thought they were gonna do a game 1, but they got the game 1 win. I figured they would do a game 2 since it just would have been better. But we're gonna see a mammal swine jungle, baby, and I am excited.
I know you and one other person I know will be excited to see if that thing goes Mammo Swine Jungle, and that other person that I know is not me. If that thing, no, if I was to be honest, I think Mammo Swine Jungle is probably the best option that they have. Honestly, an incredibly weird team comp coming out of Team Aura Esports this game. I don't know if I particularly like it. On the other side, EXP Elite 4. Showing a very similar team comp to what they were running last game. The Snorlax, Machamp, Cinderace, and Duraludon were all picks that they had played last game. And now I feel like they have a better support in Eldegoss versus the Wigglytuff that they were running last game.
Yeah, but honestly, I would have liked that Wigglytuff because of the special attack. Was it? Oh wait, no, they don't have any special attacks on their team. So no, yeah. The Eldegoss, I guess, is better. The healing's probably going to be better for the Snorlax and the Machamp.
Healing and shielding will be very important for EXP Elite 4. I will be curious to see if we see the movement-orientated move in Leaf Storm, or if we're going to be seeing the healing / HP damage reduction move in Pollen Puff. I think either one of those options are incredibly good. Again, Eldegoss, one of the highest win rate characters in Unite. So I know you've been hating on this Mon Rhino, but it's got the stats to prove how good this Mon is. It got nerfed for a reason.
It can have the stats. It can be played in solo queue all you want, pressing that freaking A button to increase your damage stats. It can do whatever it wanted. It can ult and just fly up in the air and just run away like a flying Talonflame. But it still is not the best support.
It doesn't need to be the best support. It's
give me the best support.
I think it's one of the best ones right now in this game.
It doesn't even have good skins. Like you're literally getting skin.
What do you mean
You're getting skin dipped.
Have you not seen star power on Eldegoss?
Oh my god!
What skin does Hoopa have? Hoopa just looks like
Hoopa looks like a gangster.
Outfit.
What you mean?
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm sure the profile that thing. End game, you ain't noticing none of his skins. Those things all look the same.
You probably absolutely right, and we're gonna go ahead and go into this. Let's see what the items roll out to be, as those are not correct for either side. So let me go ahead and make sure we fix that.
Take a look here. We are seeing a fluffy tail on the Hoopa. Really interesting item choice. We're seeing an X attack Espeon as well. Very interesting choices all around. It looks like Team Aura Esports is switching around their items to suit it. What I'm assuming is happening right now is some of these items were switched around for the newest event in Unite, the Boss Rush events. Playing around here, I know I've had that situation a lot with a few of my builds on my Mons getting switched around because I wanted to optimize it for Boss Rush.
Is this Hoopa going trick?
It is quite possibly. We're seeing.
Wait, could this be a Hoopa jungle?
If it's a Hoopa jungle, I will be very impressed. I think that's actually a better option than Mamoswine jungle.
Whoa!
But I will definitely be wondering. We are seeing the smoke screen come out of Espeon. Really underused item in Unite. Probably one of the least used items in Unite, right next to Fluffy Tail. Really curious about if I see if they're gonna get good value out of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Alright, we're seeing it's gonna be an Espeon jungle, which is honestly what I was predicting coming into this match.
They didn't follow the script, they lose.
But it is a very interesting grabs on both teams. We are going to see a Hoopa jungle invade here. Again, very interesting strats trying to jungle invade a Cinderace. Definitely not one of the things I would choose to do, especially not with an XP to get there before Cinderace gets red buff. But now we're going to see how this works here. Oh, missed the confusion there. Does they end up landing it?
Yeah,
they do manage to steal the blue buff, but I do not think he'll be able to get away. With red buff, buff decreasing. Oh no, he's gonna just win the trade. Oh my god, Cinderace walking out with barely alive. I'm so surprised that Hoopa did not stay on.
Wait. Oh, okay.
Oh, but Machamp coming around to clean up that kill. At least somebody on the side of EXP is walking home with that blue buff.
The A pressing being done by Elite Force is just absolutely amazing down here at the bottom, where the Cello's trying to get some little stuns here and there, but it looks like 3-man gank down at the bottom, while we have the 3-man gank on the opposite side. Actually 4-man, as all 4 members of Aura Esports is down at the bottom. Mamoswine being left up top by himself. Big Scold coming out, does miss off the mark, and yeah, looks like we're going to be respective as 4 members are still here.
They're choosing to go super aggressive here. I am loving this change up by Team Aura Esports. They are choosing to, they have this early game advantage, and they are actually trying to keep it. They're actually, pressing this advantage here. We're seeing another jungle invade from the Hoopa. He does not have his portal to get himself out of that situation. He did use his portal to try to push or to try to rip that bottom objective. I wish he would have held it so that he could escape reliably. But at least they did push this bottom objective. They got that bottom tier 1 goal down to 9 health. If they do choose to stay down here and try to fight for this bottom objective, I will be incredibly happy.
Yeah, I would be incredibly happy as well, as it looks like all 5 members from Aura Esports, it looks like they're going to just start rotating down, where we might get a 5-on-5 battle down here for this Reggie Rock, Reggie Ice, Reggie whatever, Reggie Gigas, Reggie Draco, Reggie whatever Reggies we got here. But
we are seeing the Team Aura Esports, they are choosing to be very aggressive into the enemy jungle, as 2 of them are still staying top lane to try to get some more caps off in that top lane goal. Hopefully we'll see a Hoopa portal portaling them down bottom, as 3 of them are staying down bot. So good on them. Pikachu does go down. We see the Espeon and the Hoopa slowly rotating down behind the Machamp, but I believe this is going to be too little too late, as EXP with their people lead is just going to choose to come on down here and pressure on this goal. But it looks like they stayed a little bit too long. Pikachu was able to come back. They were able to kill the Slowbro fast enough, and now they're choosing to rip, which they will get that Reggie steal again, giving them an attack boost, as we see EXP Elite 4 getting decimated by a Machamp.
Machamp comes in and takes 2, not only 2, but it might get 3, and it also is going to get this node as that node gets down. But this Hoopa has been working hard, and working hard it is on this Regieleki, but it doesn't look like it's doing enough damage, as it's trying to hit his level 9 to get his whole team up here. But I think that was the call, but it definitely failed, as this Regieleki is still going to be standing tall as the rest of the team of Elite Forces up here.
Yep, as we are seeing here, down goes the Eldegoss as it pushed early, but the Regieleki did respawn. That does go in favor of EXP now, as they are now choosing to pressure on this top lane goal. It gets it low here. Looks like that is going to be a 5 overcap on the side of EXP. And now it's just going to be on Team Aura Esports to try to secure all their farm and get ready for the second set of objectives.
Yeah, getting ready for the second set of objectives, but I kind of want to go, as we have a United, is it going to take this down? Yes, it does, as it solos, ults the Darulodon and takes it down. But I want to go back to that bottom objective, the first one. Hoopa being late with the Espeon, as they were top, they could have just easily poured it down to the bottom and just said all 5 members are here, and could have beaten that Machamp 100% a lot quicker. And it's just kind of interesting to see why they didn't do that with Espeon's Unite coming, or that it had to, as it was level 8, as all 5 members just got teleported back. Yep. But against the chance,
the champ will be coming up right when they come in. Oh, that was such a rough play for Team Aura Esports here. I do want to say, though, this is a new style of play. I think this is the first time we've ever seen Team Aura Esports not playing as a Lucky Gamers, and they did attempt to play for the
Mhm.
bottom objective.
Yeah.
So I do think this is a massive improvement on their part. Now it's just going to come down to, can they get used to the style of play, and will they be able to work for them coming into here? We do see
Nice.
them actually get
Nice.
the objective here.
Kick the portal, get
Great
out! Take the
play.
portal, get out! No!
They are choosing to stay on
Huge Pikachu.
here. They do have ultimates. They
Nice.
do have the ulti advantage. They do pick off the Cinderace. And now they have Regirock buff, which, in case you didn't know right now,
I
gives you
don't
increased
say it to
defenses
me.
and special defense.
Give it to me and
now
suck
they are
it to
going
me.
to break it. And now they're going to break this bottom goal here. This is these are much better meta game team plays that we're seeing out of Team Aura Esports here. This is a much closer game than it was last game here. They are going to lose this top lane Reggie, but now they can easily defend it on their pads. They still have ulti on the Mamoswine and the Slowbro. This should be an easy pickup here. Though the Slowbro does get picked off early, I was not paying attention to that. That's a shame. I was going to say a crying shame, but it is just sadly a shame. And as Hoopa is slowly going to rotate up top.
As it is going to rotate up top, I feel like, you know, the Pikachu missed the thing on the mark where they could have jumped down and possibly would have saved this node here, but the whole team is starting to rotate down as Team Aura Esports might take down this. Snorlax doesn't get out. It could possibly. No, it doesn't. The Mamoswine's going to go ahead and pick it up.
Oh, he did kill it. Right in front of that berry that would have saved his life. If that little Snorlax could have wiggled his big tushy and gotten that speed berry, it would have been able to get out. But it's a shame that they were not able to. And now we see what looks to be a top lane push here out of the side of Team Aura Esports.
Yeah, Team Aura Esports looks like they're going to go ahead and start this top lane as they got all five, but that portal takes them out of it, but it does get the 50 Dunkaroos, but this objective's up in 3 seconds, and their whole team is not here, but they're going to know where they're at, as the Regirock is going to get shredded by this Duraludon and Cinderace.
Yep, we are seeing the Mamoswine coming in alone, and I really hope it needs to back off there. Yes. Now, if I was Dark Aura Esports, I would be looking to try to get positioning and pit. I'm sorry, not Dark Aura. Team Aura Esports. I would be looking to try to get positioning in pit. If they were by that Mamoswine right there, that would have been a great play to try to kill off those attackers without any defenders being near them. But that is a shame they just were not in position here for that play. We are seeing some poke damage coming out of the Hoopa and the Slowbro as we see how this team fight's going to end up going around. We see the Machamp slowly trying to rotate over into the back line here. It looks like he will be able to. Hoopa does spot him. Pikachu coming out, does end up dying before he's able to use it. Oh, good stun out of the Espeon, stops the Duraludon, and then down goes the Snorlax as well. Machamp trying to run around as we have the Cinderace and the Eldegoss trying to fight for their lives here. Eldegoss goes down, and now it's just a lonely Cinderace trying to do his best, but it will as well go down, and this is going to be a push here for Team Aura Esports. Will they be able to rip this objective?
I don't know. Duraludon has a Unite. It could come in here and unite this as it's going to, and it could get the steal. Yes, it does! As EXP! Elite Force takes it underneath their noses. Nobody.
Yep, no secure out of Team Aura Esports here. They just did not manage to get the secure on that objective as Duraludon is able to walk in there, ulti, and steal it with the Dragon Pulse. Great play by EXP. Good job on them for not giving up. And honestly, I know this is looking bad for Team Aura Esports, but I got to say this game too went so much better. Went so much better for this team. I'm so proud of them for playing this game so much better than they did game one, and I feel like this is some of the best gameplay that I've seen from them this season. I will hope for them come season 2 if they do decide to participate, if they can continue on this track of making these better metagame decisions, and if they can get used to that style. I definitely felt to me this game that Team Aura Esports was running a style of gameplay and maybe some picks that they just were not used to playing. It felt like they were not quite used to having a Hoopa on their team, as well as playing for that bottom lane Reggie instead of top lane. But all in all, great gameplay coming out of both sides here. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, I'm very impressed as well. Man, if they just had somebody just peel off to go deal with that Duraludon before it got up to that, it would have been a complete tides. But yeah, GG's to both teams. Way to stick it out. EXP Elite Force, way to, get your team together, get them together and go, yes, baby, we can still do this. Let's push it for it. They surpass Aura Esports. Great to have Aura Esports in the league, as well as they will be coming back for season 2, as they said they would. I can always see them getting better from here. Take those wins, take those losses, revert and look at them, as you can easily bounce back and be one of the top teams. Rotate to the bottom. That bottom objective is very, very potent.
Yep. It is very potent. Great gameplay coming out of both teams here. Coming up next, we're going to have set 2 of Wasted Potential versus our winners of this game, which will be EXP Elite 4. So I'm very interested to see how this game 2 goes. Wasted Potential being a very good team. I believe they had a rough beginning of this league, but they have shown massive improvement as the league has gone on. And I'm very interested to see how these gameplays will go.
This game is going to go very, very different, to say the least, as I'm trying to go ahead and move some of these members on over. So hello, that is not what I wanted to do. Sorry, I had this done. Do this, and we move Elite Force right on over. And yeah, Elite Force is now going to be moving up as round 1 is complete for bracket A. Elite Force will be facing up against Wasted Potential. As everybody knows, Wasted Potential has 2 of the best looking dudes in the league, I would say, to say the least, as it was voted out from the viewers, not from myself, but from the viewers.
What? When was this viewer vote? Hold up. What is happening here?
You don't have a face cam, they said, so they couldn't vote for you. So they wanted to go ahead and say, hey,
look at this. Switch over. Projection, switch on over to my lovely bird face.
He said projection.
But look at this. Look at me. Look at me, chat. I have a wonderful beak. It is long and luscious. Rhino, get out of here. Get out of here. No, you know what? Mute your cam. Everybody look at me. All I'm going to do is get a close-up of this big, luscious, red velvet shirt here. I look wonderful. Is this not the face of the most best looking bird in this league?
Absolutely. It looks amazing. So Elite 4 going into the match, as we had a big hilarious moment there. Elite 4 is going to go ahead and opt to go first, as they're going to go ahead and ban first. So that leaves Waste Potential to go ahead and ban and pick second. So the way that this tournament works is they get to see basically everything from game 1. So, or like everything that just happened. They literally, like, Waste Potential can literally watch the games and kind of go, okay, we kind of know what they're going to start doing. We know who, we already know their 1 comp. We already know their 2 comp. Like, this gauntlet match, they have to come in now. EXP Elite 4 has to come in with a whole different setup. You can probably expect a Duraludon ban. You could probably expect a Cinderace ban. Going towards, picks and bans second and third, obviously, because the first one you're going to ban whatever is, the most OP Pokemon in the game. But that's the beauty of this tournament, and this is going to happen, right? It's definitely going to happen. You're going to have Waste Potential versus Elite Force. They literally just watched all of them from round 1, so I don't know. Eagle, what you
One of
got?
the things I'll be interested in is whether they choose to ban that Machamp from EXP Elite Four. As you said, they have picked that Machamp, I think, every single game.
Every game.
I wonder if they can even play anything else in the top lane besides Machamp.
I have no idea. I don't know that league or that team that much more for it.
Yep, but as a member of Wasted Potential, that's one of the things you got to be thinking about. I feel like if I was Wasted Potential, that would be something I would be banning out. You would force their all-rounder player to play something else. Force them to see if you can see if there's any weaknesses in their armor.
Yeah,
So yes,
you have to find out from that, and also Chopper. Chopper played that Cinderace both games. I know he has an Espeon too, but if Espeon's going to be top priority picked, what more do you have under your belt? Which is why a lot of this league is what I love the best. You can't be a one trick pony. You literally just can't. You have to have at least 4 Mons in your belt because 3 of your Mons could get banned. And if you're trying to save your jungler for the last pick, that's just to try to counterproductive everybody, from the enemy team, you have to have 4 Mons. You have to be very diverse unless you are prioritizing the one-trick Pokemon at the beginning.
Yep, I totally agree. Leading on into this match here, what is going to be one of the things that you think Wasted Potential is going to prioritize in their picks? Picking for themselves.
Prioritizing for Wasted Potential, they've been all over the place. Blastoise has been a very, very high pick for them. So has, I believe, Gardevoir has also been a very high pick. Aegislash being used by Bloomer as well. Jess also, Jess has a lot of Pokemon. They've been playing all over the place. I think they had a Azumarill one game. They had Gardevoir another. I think they even played. Actually, you know what? I think they played Ninetales. I think that was a game that they played Ninetales.
We've had Ninetales.
Yeah, I think they did play Ninetales. They played other Pokemon too. I think they played Espeon last week. No, they had a bye last week. 2 weeks ago. No, they played Sylveon. Sylveon was played by them as well. They have a lot of Pokemon in their belt. Each and every one of their players. This is probably going to be one of their best sets out of the entire since week 1. Because they get to already see what Elite Four can do.
Yeah, I'm definitely EXP Elite Four does have a rough battle going in. Being forced to play that one game beforehand is going to be something rough to come back for, and we're already seeing the fallout from that as we do see the Machamp ban that we were talking about coming out of Wasted Potential.
Sorry, I'm giving them the lobby code number. Yeah, you see both of these, and you see the tree get banned as well, as we're going to see Blissey finally coming in.
Yep, Blissey being able to get picked up because Wasted Potential decided to prioritize ban Espeon. Honestly, I think I'm okay with this. Blissey is not nearly as scary to me as an Espeon is. And Espeon in the right hands, it will win you games, it feel like. If you can match it up with a late game powerhouse carry, you're looking Gucci in these games here.
Gucci Mane, as Gucci Mane just came out as Urshifu gets picked up. And what are they going to choose? A Slowbro. Both very, very liable picks right there.
Yep, very viable, very dominant picks. Again, I'll be interested to see if Wasted Potential decides to use the Urshifu as their all-rounder pick, or will they instead be choosing it as their jungler pick?
So stat note for you: this is the first time Wasted Potential has picked Urshifu since week 1.
This is the first what?
This is the first time Urshifu has been picked since week 1.
Lies.
Yes, for wasted
it
potential.
banned?
No,
Was it-
for waste
For
potential.
wasted potential. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was
So
like,
this is the first time.
that's some rough facts. There's no way. This
Yeah, no,
was it
Urshifu.
banned at this time?
Yeah, waste potential. This is the first time Urshifu since they've. This is the first time Urshifu has been picked for waste potential.
All right, that sounds more accurate here, as we are seeing the Duraludon pick up from EXP Elite Four here. And now, if I was wasted potential, I would be looking to grab an attacker here.
Grab that Cinder.
I wasn't even going to say Cinder. They don't need to pick up. They don't need to pick up jungle quite yet. But I would love to see some ranged on the side of wasted potential. Somebody that can poke out Duraludon from range. Something like a Mew, I think, would be a really good pick, or a Decidueye would also be a good
Decidueye.
pick.
I would say pick Decidueye, ban Cinderace for side of waste potential. Just so that way Cinderace or Greninja, but I don't know if Chopper can play Greninja. I know he's a very smart Unite player. I just don't know what his pool is.
Yeah, I would love to see either a Decidueye, as we saw here, they did choose to pick up the Decidueye, giving them that range as well as that burn.
75% pick, by the way, for waste potential.
Yep,
75%.
And I would love to see that Cinderace ban, as we are going to see coming out of waste potential as well.
Yep, 75% pick for waste potential, picking up this Decidueye. Definitely probably going to go over to the Bloomer, the handsome man himself, as Hoopa gets banned for the side of EXP Elite 4, but that still leaves one Pokemon that I hate the worst for as far as supports go, and that's Eldegoss. Ugh.
I would not be surprised if they choose to just run around with a different defender here. I would love to see Wasted Potential grab something like a Mamoswine here and then use that Slowbro as a support. But I would also understand if they were going to pick up an Eldegoss here. But I think I would much more prefer it if Wasted Potential decided to use Slowbro as their support, grab like a Mamoswine here. Tree's banned, so they can't use
Blastoise.
that. Or
Blastoise
is also a really good pick.
Very good pick.
Blastoise would be a great pick here.
Slowbro can easily go into attacker, still have that EXP share. If Blastoise can 100% do surf, but I know they love doing the rapid spin, but they do have that surf that they can go ahead and optimize as well. As Eldegoss gets picked up for waste potential. I freaking knew it. I hate this Pokemon. Really do, but it does get picked.
Eldegoss pick up from wasted potential here. Again, it's not a bad mon. It's still going to be incredibly useful, especially for keeping these dive mons. Let's say if Urshifu decides to go water Urshifu, it'll be incredibly important to keeping it alive, being able to throw a pollen puff over at water Urshifu right before it decides to go ahead and dive the enemy backlines, or even just going ahead and launching an ultimate to keep Urshifu alive. Incredibly important mon, as we're seeing Delphox and Azumarill getting picked up for EXP Elite 4, and Gardevoir being the last pick for Wasted Potential.
Azumarill getting picked up. That's 100% going to Robs. He's never played anything other than Machamp, so this is going to be very interesting for Game 1 for Wasted Potential to see something new on Rob. So I'm kind of excited. I'm not going to lie. This is baby, give it to me.
This will be a very good game here. This is going to be EXP Elite 4's time to prove themselves. This game is going to be the real proof. Wasted Potential saw what they did back in Games 1 and Games 2. Back in the first set, so now they'll be able to. Now that they've figured out what kind of strategy they like to go for with those rip comps, they've decided to break it down, banning both the Machamp and the Cinderace from EXP Elite 4. So now we can see if EXP Elite 4 will be able to bring home a victory on something besides a rip comp. Here's a question for you: do you think that this is going to be a Jungle Decidueye or a Jungle Gardevoir?
Jungle Decidueye. They've been playing it, like I said, 75% of the time, and it's always been in the jungle. Bloomer has just been immaculate on this Decidueye and has played it very, very well. If it wasn't ever picked third, it was banned right away from the enemy team as their third ban. So it was kind of due that you might as well take it out first game and have it banned on you for the second game and bring something different. But this Urshifu has to step up for waste potential. If it does not, it's going to be really bad, as this Azumarill can easily get to that backline onto this Decidueye as well. I don't know. You got to stop this Azumarill, and if you can't 1v1 it at level 4, you're going to be behind, and you have to get ahead.
Yep. One of the things that I'm going to be looking forward to here, again, looking back on these team comps, I'm going to have to agree with you. I don't particularly like Eldegoss pick. And to Wasted Potential side, I really wish we were seeing a more defender-oriented character on Wasted Potential and then running the Slowbro as their support, basically having a really beefy front line to protect this Gardevoir and Decidueye.
Yeah.
But I am liking the range on the side of Wasted Potential. I think this game is going to come down to whether or not Wasted Potential can keep their Decidueye and their Gardevoir safe, or whether or not the Azumarill and the Azumarill and the Snorlax on the side of EXP are going to be able to dive that back line, get to those damage dealers, and wipe them out before Wasted Potential can do anything with them. Looking at the builds coming in here, we are seeing some interesting grabs that is not very common that you'll see. One of them which being a Assault Vest on the Snorlax here instead of an EXP share. And then we're also seeing a... what is that? That is a... Glasses, Energy Amp, and what is that? A Shell Bell? Coming out
Real Jess? You talking about Real Jess?
Yeah.
That is double. Delphox. I was not looking at Delphox. I was looking at the Gardevoir.
It's no problem. I can't see your screen's just a little bit fuzzy for me, so I can't make out all the held items, but it's fine.
Okay.
But coming into this match here, I'm looking at some of the held item choices. We are seeing the X attack on the Duraludon, a very powerful item on Duraludon, being able to just rip anything incredibly fast with that addition. We're seeing double EXP share coming out of Wasted Potential, being able to get the EXP lead. That's going to be imperative to giving them that EXP lead. As you are correct, the Decidueye is going to be showing up into jungle, while we're seeing a jungle Delphox on the side of EXP. Duraludon heading down bot lane, going to choose to use that X attack to try to rip these bottom farm. As we see an Urshifu and an Azumarill both in top lane, trying to maybe switch off their stacks.
Yeah, as they switch off their stacks here, it looks like, Snorlax is going to go ahead and get a couple of them for themselves. Robs is already level 4.
We are seeing Azumarill is already level 4. The enemy jungler, Decidueye, it does manage to get up there first, ensuring that the Urshifu Eldegoss pair will be able to have a little bit of free space to try to farm as much as they can. Decidueye is a little bit up by himself right now, though. Gonna see not get picked off, but he does get chipped.
He does.
This is going to go onto the side of EXP Elite 4 here. Snorlax is just going to walk away and rest on top of the base. Going to go into full health here. It looks like it's going to be a rough fight for Wasted Potential up in that top lane, at least until Urshifu can hit level 5 for one of these things. If they do not get level locked and they can hit level 5, I'm expecting a massive swing on the tide of EX on Wasted Potential side, and with them being able to dominate that lane. And we are going to see a single strike Urshifu here. I do love that pick. It's going to be the secure that Wasted Potential is going to need. Now they have multiple forms of secure, with the Shackle coming out of Decidueye, the Wicked Blow coming out of Urshifu, and they even have like Gardevoir Unite if they need to rely on that for a secure. Going to be a very interesting place here. As we see the 8-minute Bs going onto the side of Wasted Potential, Wicked Blow just such a good confirm. Urshifu's going to go up into top lane to ensure those the rest of his stacks, while the rest of his team goes bot lane to try to pressure this lane. Slowbro going to get picked up. Slowbro trying to take a little rest here, as then he walks away with scolding while he does it. Snorlax going to go ahead and take some of those berries, but get chipped down in the process, as we see a lot of points going on to the side of EXP. Elite Four getting that bottom tier base low, but they are swapping deaths for it, and now Wasted Potential has their Urshifu player coming on down here, getting a pick on the EXP Elite Four, and now they're just gonna choose to push this lane themselves, and now they're gonna back off as EXP Elite Four chooses to start respawning, and now they're just gonna choose to rip this bottom Registeel. By the way, quick shout out, I just noticed this is the third time Registeel's been picked up as the first objective.
As it has been the first objective, this Azumarill is getting bullied by this Urshifu, as it is level 9 and is going to get a huge Unite off, as it's going to just Wicked Blow it to smithereens as Eldegoss goes ahead and take it, but the flip has been done as top lane has go ahead and taken this Regieleki.
Yep, they do end up breaking with a 4 overcap on that bottom goal as Regieleki goes into the tier 1 base. And I'll be curious to see if EXP, if they decide to break this goal now, or whether or not they'll just try to score as many points as they can to get it low without breaking it. We are going to see a Duraludon ultimate come out here. Looks like he is going to be able to get out just barely. Decidueye ult picking off a kill, and it looks like Wasted Potential is going to be able to defend their base for a little while longer.
As they try to defend their base, a big Unite
comes in, huge Gardevoir Unite, almost being able to pick off that Blissey. As we see, this push is still going to keep on happening. Blissey goes down, Duraludon goes down, Urshifu goes down, and almost sniped the Delphox.
Yeah, big trades there. The way that they handed over that XP from that Urshifu directly to that Delphox, the Delphox just gained 2 whole levels, basically. It went from literally level 9 to level 11 right away. All they needed was just a little ball toy, and that was it. I don't know if I really like the overextension from that, but it did only go to one Pokemon.
I think you have to accept it though, because that overextension was what allowed the Urshifu to pick up 2 kills, and they were able to take a base off of it.
Yeah, they got the base, but I mean, they're handing over a lot of XP.
I'm going to have to stop you right here as we proceed on to this fight here. We see Delphox ult coming out, Eldegoss ult coming out, Slowbro ult coming out as well, and Snorlax ult coming out. Ults trading left, right, and central here. Duraludon getting very aggressive with its positioning, does go down. Urshifu ult coming in to swipe that Azumarill, and now we're seeing the re-engage come in from Wasted Potential. They do not get the objective, but it looks like they're going to pick up the rest of these kills.
Yeah, they get the rest of these kills. Bloomer with a massive snipe takes Chopper to a half health, but them eggs are going to keep him alive for the meanwhile. As we go ahead and go up to the top lane, the Duraludon's just going to go ahead and singly take over this Regieleki. Greeny T is up here with this Slowbro.
Slowbro just walking in here, wondering if he's going to... Yep, Scald confirmed that one, saw that one coming. As he got into position to both, debuff the Duraludon as well as hit the objective. That's going to be an easy Skull to confirm. Great play from Wasted Potential, as now they're going to push this Regieleki over here. We are seeing the Duraludon ult come out with a Guardi ult, huge 3-man Guardi ult. Gonna wipe out some of the players on the side of EXP Elite Four, as Delphox ult is really struggling to deal a lot of important damage on here. The Aleki does manage to go in, and they do manage to break that T2. And now Wasted Potential is just going to say, all right, we got all the kills we needed, we got all the caps we wanted, and now we're just going to walk away.
Walk away as they do. There's a lot of XP on the map to where they just go ahead and try to take every single bit of it away from EXP Elite Force, taking EXP from EXP as we go ahead and go in. Big Wicked Blow goes in, but a full heal comes out, so that way they get out Bridget and Palmer both working together and just being a dominant
Great
duo
play
for
from
themselves.
Wasted Potential being able to get out of that situation, even though they were 2v4 for a quick bit there. As we see, they are now getting set up for this bottom objective here, as this Azumarill is going to get picked off. That was a really aggressive play from that Azumarill. I'm assuming they just thought that they could go ahead, get a little bit of poke damage off, and then manage to back off, but it did not work out for them. As we see, they are choosing to rip in front of this here. I don't know if I like this play from EXP. I don't know. You cannot rip in front of apparently a Slowbro, because Slowbro ends up getting that secure yet again. I thought I could have sworn that the Wicked Blow ended up getting that one.
Yeah.
And then the Azumarill able to sneakily get out of that situation.
Yeah, they definitely played it very well as the Rayquaza goes ahead and spawns up. They don't really need it, but they're going to go ahead and start ripping it just to kind of get the team to start coming towards in the middle. Azumarill in the background, though, it could easily focus this Decidueye, but Decidueye
but
did.
it is seen. Decidueye is getting chased right now. His team needs to hurry up and follow up. Azumarill gets picked off. Again, really hurts. Eldegoss is going to be around to heal up, and now that Decidueye is practically full HP, Gardevoir comes in. Oh my gosh, this is just deleting the team on EXP. Urshifu all going to wipe out that Delphox there, and now it's just time to rip for the side of Wasted Potential. They have all the time in the world, they have all the secure in the world, and finally we're seeing that Wicked Blow secure coming out of Urshifu here, and I believe that's going to wrap up this game.
Yeah, it wraps up this game very well. The Decidueye being very, very potent. So is this Gardevoir. Two very strong picks for two very strong players. Never seen Palmer on this Urshifu, which is very interesting to say the least. Did very, very well on it. A couple mishaps on it, but other than that, it pretty much did the job for its team and to secure things as well. The one thing I want to see from EXP Elite Force is start banning some of these Pokemon away from them. They've always picked them up, so yeah, this arrow's just gonna get double kill here.
Oh my gosh, the double kill out of the arrows here. Great Decidueye gameplay, hiding in that bush, allowing the enemy team to try to cap in that lane, thinking they could get it for free, catch them when they weren't looking, and then get that kill there, as Eldegoss is going to be able to ulti there. Misses the ult, damn it. Misses the kill, as Blissey does manage to juke out and live just a little bit longer. But yes, this game is going to most definitely go into the side of Wasted Potential. Great gameplay from EXP. I'm looking forward to seeing how this second game picks and bans go.
Yeah, like I said, if people, and I wouldn't say people, if the teams would really realize that every game is available to them to look over to who they could be facing up against at later times and watch, you can easily see what each and every player is really good at. Bloomer has just been really good, and like I said, 75% of the time they've been picking up this Pokemon. So it's only been banned against them probably 3 or 4 times. It's just, I mean, 118k. You gotta ban it. You can't let them have this. You gotta ban it.
Yep, I'll be rarely surprised if they decide to not ban this Decidueye here. And again, just like we were talking about during Pixel Ban's Game 1, still keep that Machamp banned. That, I feel like that Azumarill didn't really do anything on the side of EXP. We know that they can play the Machamp. I'd say keep it banned, make them play stuff that they're not comfortable with, and let that work out for you. I mean, that was a very underwhelming performance from the Azumarill.
Yeah.
So I would be totally honest where I would continually ban the Machamp and force that player to keep on playing something that they're not using. At least until they can show that they can play something else.
Yeah, I don't want to see Espeon banned, or even, like, I think they had Tree and Comfy banned for the side of EXP Elite 4. You're going to end up with one or the other. Just ban, I would ban literally probably Comfy first, and then after that I would ban Decidueye or Gardevoir. Take one of those two.
Free.
Like,
ban the tree. If you're not playing the tree, ban the tree.
I would ban one of those because honestly, it doesn't make sense to let both of their strong picks let out. I mean, 91k from Real Jest, 118k from Bloomer. Like you got to take those two away from them.
Yep. And then I will be right back, League Commissioner. I want you to go ahead and shout out your stuff or talk about these picks and bans. I will be right back.
Absolutely. As we go ahead and go into these picks and bans, Espeon Machamp being banned from Wasted Potential, Comfy and Tree being banned from EXP Elite Four, Urshifu being the number one pick for EXP Elite Four, so didn't want to take the eggs for themselves. Wasted Potential does have the opportunity to go ahead and just take everything. I would take the Gardevoir Decidueye right away. There is really no reason not to go ahead and prioritize both of those as your top two picks. Just because of how dominant they were in that last game, I don't foresee Wasted Potential taking it to that factor where they don't take either one, at least for one of these two picks. Slowbro being picked up, that's a very good pick. Definitely meta pick at the say the least. I would say Decidueye here or Gardevoir as Elite, EXP Elite 4. Can play Gardevoir and can play Gardevoir very well. They have picked it a lot of times as Hoopa gets picked up from the side of Waste Potential. Big time here for EXP Elite 4, honestly. I would literally take both of their picks away from them. Take Gardevoir, take Decidueye, and let it be. Let it rip. Let it, you have your three attackers. All you need is a support and a defender. Wasted Potential's already picked their support and their support and defender. All they have to do is now ban either or a support or defender. As they take a support for themselves, EXP Elite 4 with the Blissey again, and overall, Duraludon being picked up from EXP Elite 4. I would say that's a top pick or a comfort pick for themselves. I don't like that pick as it now leaves Decidueye for Wasted Potential, and that's going to be yikeroonies for EXP Elite 4. Yeah, I would see it. I would ban Gardevoir right here. Ban Gardevoir or ban Cinderace. Actually, ban Cinderace. I mean, you might as well keep the same three bans as far as that is concerned.
Okay,
yeah, I expected EXP Elite 4 had the opportunity to literally take Decidueye and Gardevoir away from them. If not one of them. And they let Decidueye go. And picked up Duraludon.
Yep, I am looking at this here. I am seeing that EXP Elite 4. We're seeing a very similar team compared to last time. Just the Urshifu is now on the side of EXP Elite 4. It could work for them. EXP Elite 4 has shown that they are trying to do this kind of rip comp. So having a single strike Urshifu to be your secure might make the difference for them.
Yeah, it might make the difference, but Waste Potential does have that Hoopa, so it's going to be very hard to stop the rotations from this Waste Potential, as they have used it before and actually won with it as well.
Yep, be very interested to see as we're seeing the same bans now. Cinderace getting Waste Potential banning that Cinderace away from EXP Elite 4. And now let's see what EXP decides to ban. I would love to see a Guardy ban.
I would respect the Guardy ban.
There's no reason not to. A Guardy ban or maybe a Mew ban. I would really not want Mew. I would really not want Wasted Potential to be able to pick up that Mew.
Wasted Potential, I don't think plays Mew.
You don't think they do? All right.
I don't think Real Jest plays Mew. I think I've seen them play only a lot of the other attackers and a couple of all-rounders.
Wasted Potential, learn how to play Mew. You gotta know that one. That was your homework today, Wasted Potential. I need that.
Yeah, I think Real Jest hasn't really played Mew unless they're going to bring it out of their pocket, which would be the right time, but I would almost wait to see unless you go to game 3 type deal and save it for, later on against Jungle Griefers if they do win this game. So There's a lot of mind games that comes to that as Eldegoss gets picked up yet again from Wasted Potential. Nothing really changed except for the Hoopa, but double supports.
Yep, double support coming out of here. I really don't like the idea of double support being combined with a Decidueye. Really rough here. Really would have liked to see some form of dive onto the on the side of Wasted Potential for that Duraludon to really wipe it out. As we're seeing a Dragonite pick up on the side of EXP Elite Four.
Wasted Potential is going to pick up Blastoise as their last pick and do spin to win, pretty much. I can foresee it. As Blastoise gets taken. I think somebody probably did their homework as Blastoise gets picked up for EXP Elite 4. That was probably, I want to say that was their, if not, it's Aegislash to get back there. It's one of those picks that Palmer loves to get, is either Blastoise or Aegislash, and he's been picking up both of them. Urshifu was like the first time we've seen him play it, so.
Yeah. Definitely very interesting team. We see a T-Tar getting picked up on the side of Wasted Potential. Definitely an interesting team. I am not a fan of this. I feel like this, what is this supposed to be? Eldegoss? Is this going to be Eldegoss build where you're running like full damage on this Eldegoss, hoping that it can take the role of an attacker?
I'm going to say...
it feels weird.
Hoopa Eldegoss same lane is OP. Like, I've played it multiple times, but I played Trick Hoopa with the Eldegoss, obviously just with a duo queue, but it, like, we've run games together and run that lane like it is no other, just with the amount of A-pressing that we can do.
Hold up. Yeah, anything that's running, Muscle Band and Scarf, early game is going to be,
I want to see Trick. I want to see Trick off of Hoopa for this T-Tar, because then you can actually stay next to this T-Tar, and Phantom Force can also make T-Tar get out of situations to bounce backwards to get healing off of it as well. So
this is definitely going to end up being a very unique team comp where it feels like you have three things following a T-Tar around, hoping that the T-Tar gets big enough to take care of all the scary things in the world, where you just have Sniper Decidueye in the back line trying to go and do its due diligence. On the other side, though, I really like EXP Elite 4's team comp. I feel like it's a much more balanced team comp than what they showed Game 1. This time they have a Duraludon, a Dragonite, an Urshifu, a ton of rip potential as well as a ton of secure potential with those three mons, and then you have the Blissey to support them all, and then a backline dive Blastoise. Honestly, I could see this Blastoise running Serve Hydro Pump or Spin to Win, and I think either moveset on this mon would be viable in this game.
Yes, 100%. I want to see Trick Hoopa. I've missed it. I want to see it. I know the other build is so much better. I understand that, as we see Bloomer on the Zacian, which is I'm kind of pissed now because Zacian is like, if I see a Zacian player, I just want them to leave the game. I don't want them around the game 100%. Like, I understand if you're a fan of the Pokemon, it's a different story. But if you're using it just to climb, it's like, bro, really? Like, but some teams do unfortunately have to do it because of
look at these team
other
comps
things.
real quick. Sorry to cut you off.
You're good. I understand.
We are seeing this damage Eldegoss build here. No EXP here, instead swapping that out for a choice specs. And then we're seeing something interesting coming out of Bloomer. I'm sorry, but that to me does not look like a Shaco build for Decidueye. That instead looks like a Razor Leaf Decidueye. I think we might be seeing Razor Leaf Decidueye coming out in this game.
I feel like those the Razor Leaf Decidueyes for this Blastoise, instead of doing the Spirit Shackle, because Blastoise can easily get back there. T-Tar can easily 100% stick with the enemy team all the way through, as we're gonna go ahead and go into game 2. Wasted Potential versus EXP Elite 4 Force, I should say, not 4 anymore. Dragonite being in the jungle as well as that.
Yeah,
Right.
Dragonite deciding to go jungle. Very weak Mon early game. Definitely needs that level 8 and getting Hyper Beam to really be viable as a character in the game. So it's no surprise that it is taking the jungle, as we see the Larvitar up in top lane also deciding to just play top lane with the Rowlet jungle that we saw previously in last game. As this Hoopa is being a very annoying Mon for Waste of Potential to try to deal with right now. I'm sorry, EXP Elite Force to try to deal with right now. Sorry, they're switched in my head right now.
Well, you are absolutely correct, as they should be on either side here. Let me go ahead and fix that. There, boom, boom, and there we go. Yeah.
You need to switch the number now.
Oh my god.
That's all right, you'll learn.
There
You'll
you
learn
go.
one day.
We will learn. Sorry, I would have had that all fixed, but having to cast and do everything else at once is very hard. Portal being on the side for this Hoopa, which is kind of interesting.
I did expect it. I mean, Portal is just so useful, even outside of just a move in the game. Just being able to portal to whatever tower that you need to go to is just an incredibly useful movement tool in the game. As we see that the Decidueye went back into jungle as top lane continues to have the fight. I do see that the Dragonite still has not gone back into their jungle, as Pupitar managed to pick up a kill. Good for him. In this top lane here, as what EXP Elite Force is now going ahead and taking their next rotation of jungle. Actually, they don't be able to pick it up before these 8-minute Bs. They're just choosing to go for the 8-minute Bs instead. Really interesting sights here. That's going to be a super late jungle rotation here.
Spirit Shackle
and then
from
it is Spirit Shackle.
Bloomer.
Interesting. So they do decide to go Spirit Shackle even with those held item choices. I feel like that is a really curious decision. Those are definitely the held items that don't really benefit from using Spirit Shackle build, but it could just be, as you said, they were grabbing them for the to try to deal with the Blastoise the best that you can, because it's not like you're going to be charging up a Blastoise, or you're not going to be charging up an arrow while a Blastoise is running you down spin to win style. It could just be that they decided to use those items to get as much out of their auto attacks as they can, and then still choosing that arrows was the best way of dealing damage primarily.
Yeah, dealing damage is going to be big for Bloomer right now, but this Pupitar is already level 8, and it's 7, but the Registeel has spawned, and it is up on the Battle Fray, but Bridge is taking some heavy damage here. Greeny T trying to take some damage as well.
Seeing some arrows coming out. Level 9 out of the Decidueye managed to pick up a kill on that Blastoise. Or World Turtle, I guess I should say. As they decide to just rip this objective before Duraludon can even show up.
As the T-Tar goes and rotates all the way up, and is going to go ahead and unite as well, but it's going to possibly take this Regieleki. No, it opts to go ahead and force.
T-Tar still has unite.
Oh, why didn't you unite while you're up there? Whoa.
It is a curious decision. I think he could have, if he would have united for that objective, he would have been able to get it. He is going to choose to unite now, however, to ensure that they get this top lane push as they decide to break this top goal here. It looks like they're going to get the most overdunks as possible. They're going to break it with a 30-point overcap. Good patience on the side of Waste of Potential here, making sure that they just get as many points as they can to overdunk that tower, recognizing that EXP was not trying to save that tower. They have already given up on it. So good on them for making sure that they got the most overdunk that they could.
This is a Dark Pulse Sand Tomb T-Tar, by the way, so it is going to be doing some heavy CC for this Duraludon, and it might go down here to the Hyper Beam, but it is possibly going to get the rest of the team.
But there goes an arrow sniping out that Urshifu, as the Decidueye is going to try to defend this lane here, as we are seeing these auto attacks come out, dealing a good bit of over here to the Dragonite. Eldegoss is Damage Goss, Eldegod, as I like to call it, when somebody runs Damage Eldegoss. Eldegod was able to pick up that kill on the Urshifu. As we see, Wasted Potential is getting set up early for this bottom objective. Looks like they're hiding out in bushes, waiting to see if they can find somebody to poke out. Choose to go for the birds instead, as we see the Slowbro getting trying to escape as fast as possible. We're seeing ultimate coming out of Hoopa now as they apply more pressure over here on this top lane, and they wipe out Urshifu that decided to dive in the back line. Urshifu for Hoopa, as we see Slowbro ult coming in, Dragonite going down. T-Tar trying its best to get that Duraludon, which it does. And now we have Spin to Win Blastoise trying to pick up a kill on the T-Tar. Looks like it will not be able to, as we see ourselves as the Regirock is getting ripped by the Decidueye in the backline, and they do pick up that Regirock buff as the Urshifu goes down for a second time. Is this going to be the second time that we get to see Dragonite go down? No. Dragonite decides to just go back onto tower, as Wasted Potential decides to push the enemy jungle now.
Yeah, as they're pushing that enemy jungle, the Duraludon went ahead and rotated all the way up and got the Regieleki. It is going to go in, but it's going to leave a big overcap. It does a 35 overcap on the top.
Yep, good play by EXP Elite Force, honestly. I feel like they recognized they were not going to get that bottom objective, so they went ahead and got the most value that they could, being that top objective, but it looks like they decided to overstay their welcome there. I don't know if I liked that Dragonite ulti I guess he was trying to peel out for his friends. Did not manage to work out. He ends up going down. I believe the Duraludon also ended up dying in that exchange as well. So again, we're swapping deaths left, right, and central here. Looking at the level leads going on, Wasted Potential has a very dominant level lead with 3 of their characters having level 13, with only the EXP share supports having level 11 each. While on the side of EXP Elite Force, we are seeing their max level being their level 12 Dragonite. So a massive level lead on the side of Wasted Potential as they come up here to this late game. Oh, and this Urshifu is going to get grabbed out of the bushes here. Oh, it does not go down. So good for them being able to... Good for him being able to get out of that situation without dying. Dying there, it wouldn't have been the worst because he's only level 11, so he would have spawned in before the 2-minute mark. But it would have given up so much pressure to Wasted Potential to get proper positioning in this middle area.
Yeah, as Rayquaza, the big boy himself, the Sky Ruin boss himself, is going to go ahead and get on the map.
Urshifu trying to get back in there. Slowbro ult comes out as Urshifu does end up dying. We're seeing ults out of Blastoise, out of Duraludon, out of T-Tar, out of Eldegoss. As we see the Blastoise going down, was Decidueye ulti coming out as well. As this, oh my gosh, EXP Elite Force's team is going down, down, down. As they're all dying. Duraludon's now dead. Urshifu's back up, however. This could be an Urshifu snipe. We're seeing the Slowbro coming around right here. This looks like it's going to be a... Oh! Good, again, great patience coming out of Wasted Potential. They allowed the Urshifu to go ahead and dive. They didn't continue hitting the Ray. They left it outside of Urshifu's Wicked Blow range. And then as soon as Urshifu was forced to release his Wicked Blow, that Decidueye went ahead and then secured the objective. Great plays on the side of Wasted Potential here. Great patience, I think, is the call of the match that really led them to be one step above the rest.
Yeah, we're going to see a bunch of scores go in. 625 to 254. Wasted Potential possibly taking their game to win and moving on into the bracket. Going to be going up against Jungle Griefers themselves. As we might going to go ahead and get that game started. Chopper trying to just do some respective dances here as he's going to go ahead and try to ult in on the other side. Is he going to try to dance as well? No.
Oh,
the Slowbro gets caught out.
Him.
Greedy T said, no more scores for you, as we're going to see the Urshifu go down, along with the Duraludon, as the T-Tar got a double kill. Waste of potential going on into the next bracket for the tournament.
Yep, great gameplay from both sides. Wasted potential, amazing performance, especially in this game too. I believe they showed incredible discipline and patience coming in. Because I mean, any other team, a lot of the other teams that we would have seen this tournament, that would have been a win for EXP with a wicked blow secure coming out. A lot of other teams they would have panicked, so they would have tried to rip the objective as fast as possible. But no, wasted potential, being very patient, allowing the wicked blow to first happen before going ahead and securing the objective. By the way, welcome back, Chopper. We missed you dearly.
Hey.
How was the? How are your games?
How was the beating?
I mean, it wasn't much of a beating. It was great games from both sides.
So, I felt like we had the right idea with the second draft, but first in the Pokemon that we actually chose, I thought that the objective clear composition that we actually picked for that second game could give us a slight edge, but you know how wasted potential is when it comes to Palmer and Bloomer specifically, and everybody else. Like that team knows what they're doing, right? So yeah, we just need to continue to practice the compositions that we currently have and see if we can get a little bit more versatile in regards of what we continue to do onwards. Though, yeah, I would have liked to go up in the next round. This next match is going to be super exciting, especially since Wasted Potential is going to go up against Jungle Griefers. And I feel like one of the important things of this format is that once Wasted Potential is pretty much warmed up, it's up to Jungle Griefers to try to stop the momentum that Wasted Potential has on, right? So, yeah, it's going to be fun to see these next matches.
Yep. While it was fun to see you down there as a player, I am still happy to have you here as a caster. Great games all around. And again, yes, these third round matches are going to be incredibly interesting to watch. Wasted Potential, as we just saw, they're warmed up, ready to go against Jungle Griefers, which are now going to be one of our dominant teams in the format. I believe they had a very positive win rate coming into this match here. And so definitely one of our top teams, definitely looking forward to seeing how this game goes. Here's a question. How do you think bans are going to be looking like for both teams?
Yeah, so these two teams have probably played against each other a lot. They know each other well, especially from the previous seasons. And yeah, actually picking out Blastoise towards the end was going to be super important when it comes to the team comp that we're going to try to run for Wasted Potential Sign, because we do know what Palmer likes to run. I'm seeing that most of the healers and supports are going to be top priority from both sides, so I'm expecting a lot of support bans from both, especially if we're going to see those T-Tars coming out. Blissey, Eldegoss, Hoopa are going to be highly contested throughout the matches, and we already saw one of the first few bans from Wasted Potential side. They do not want to deal against Espeon, and I do not blame them. On a side note, I am kind of proud of myself for the fact that I actually got target banned 2 of my Pokemon, which are Espeon and Cinderace, but Espeon was because it's hella broken right now.
Yeah.
So that actually made me feel quite good. They respected my Cinder. So I need to put the rest of my Pokemon up to that level as well. Nevertheless, yeah, Wasted Potential is definitely going to look to get some priority done in the supports, especially since the meta dictates it to be so.
Yeah, definitely interested in how these games will end up going on to. Definitely interested in how these bans go on to. Both of these teams seems like they have very wide pools of mons that they like to play. So be interested to see on what ends up getting chosen, what ends up getting banned. And again, this will be our last set for tonight. So, whoever ends up winning this round 3 game come next week will be going up against Isekai no Tatsuru. I just said Isekai. Oof.
Ikigai?
Ikigai. Yes, you
no
are correct.
Sugi.
Yeah, I literally translate for Japanese and I can't speak it for the life of me.
Ikigai no Tsurugi.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. The nice Japanese voice and all.
Thank you.
Here's one of the questions for you. I asked our league commissioner earlier tonight, Chopper, but oh my gosh, Ryan. Right now. uh, but what is one of the mons that you are going to be most surprised if it gets picked up during these picks and bans sessions?
Um, we haven't seen a lot of Mew as of late, and it's kind of weird considering it's one of the best laners that we have right now.
Yeah, I've also been very surprised that we haven't seen Mew. I would have loved to see Mew, especially in that last game. There's a few times where I thought wasted potential. Definitely would have looked good having a Mew on their side. Please, Ryan, no. Please go off the screen. Yeah, let's look at these picks and bans here. Let's pull up that sheet. Nope, they are not ready yet for picks and bans.
Yeah, so what I was thinking as well was going to be probably a Greedent, but it kind of feels like these two teams would actually pick Greedent in the first place, so it is a high probability that we might see it here. We haven't seen Sableye at all either. It seems like the nerfs actually just put the nail in the coffin. People just don't like to play with them, and they don't like to play against it. So I'm not expecting that much of a Sableye play, especially since a lot of the compositions that we're actually going to go for, because the objectives on the top and bottom side are so important right now. You really want to have those 5-on-5 team fights to go your way instead of going the usual 4-1 compositions to actually try to divide whatever it is that you want to do, right? So I'm thinking Sableye, I'm not expecting it to get picked in these next matches either.
Yeah, I'm definitely really interested to see if a team does decide to choose Sableye. Again, I'm not particularly a fan of Sableye. I don't really like that mon. I really wish not Game Freak, Timmy would go ahead and get rid of that mon. Really hate it. But I do agree that it's a very strong mon as long as you have the right team for it. It definitely feels like the kind of mon that you would grab like fourth or fifth pick instead of like a second or third pick that you do see your supports typically prioritized as.
Yeah, like I mentioned beforehand, especially in this meta, since it's so prevalent as well, it's going to be super important to actually get those double support compositions underway. You are putting a lot of pressure onto the attackers or the all rounders that you're going to have on your side when you have those two supports, but it doesn't really matter if, for example, you have a T-Tar that's just going to hit level 14 and then it's pretty much like two Pokemon in one because of the damage that they're going to be able to put out. In contrast, because of how the meta has developed so far, I'm expecting Delphox to actually continue to get that priority that it needs and deserves. Just because that anti-healing could be a game changer when it comes to actually dealing with the likes of Blissey and an Eldegoss or what have you.
Yep. And then, sorry to cut you off there. We are going to switch on over to the picks and bans here as we see Wasted Potential going ahead and locking in a ban on Glaceon. Definitely a target ban. I know for a fact that Jungle Griefers has an excellent Glaceon jungle on the side of Dispenza. He plays that mon incredibly well. Not surprised to see that banned out.
Yeah, Espeon Comfy coming from the side of Jungle Briefers is not to be not expected. Comfy pretty much with the buffs that it receives is actually a major damage and really respecting then the Dodrio pick on the side of Wasted Potential as they go for their first one. Usually we do see Shifu, which is exactly what they're going to go for. Otherwise you would see a top support or a top defender, which seem to be the priority when it comes to actually getting these drafts underway.
Yes, definitely. And again, I'm gonna say these are Wisdom Potential seems like they are definitely deciding to go right out the gate with the target bans. Dodrio, I definitely know that was it Rixel has a very strong Dodrio up in his top side pick on the side of Jungle Griefers. And the Glaceon, again, as I said, the Dispenza plays that incredibly well. And then we are seeing Jungle Griefers deciding to grab the Slowbro and Trevenant right out the gate. I'm assuming that's going to be a Slowbro support and a Trevenant defender. Both very strong, very bulky picks.
Yeah, you are definitely going to need any type of Delphox on the side of wasted potential if you want to continue to get going, especially if Trevin and Slobo continue to actually use their healing, which is kind of curious by the fact that there's no supports on the board right now. It's kind of curious, at least from this side. So wasted potential has two straight picks, so you should pick support here and then round it up with an attacker, or maybe you could pick the own defender as well. So they are going to go with the Hoopa. The hyperspace portal is going to be super important when it comes to resetting those team fights, and they feel pretty confident in their rotations as well. And they did play with the Hoopa really well on that second game versus Elite Force. So it's definitely one of those picks that continues to rise in priority, and it really gives the opportunity for teams to actually outplay in the macro aspect of the game.
Yep, as we are going to see them, I'm curious about what they would what they would pick up. I would really hope for them to grab as you were talking about earlier, the Delphox. They really need to pick that Delphox up right here as their third option, I feel, and either run it as as their as their bottom lane attacker or their jungle. But we do see that they do grab Gardevoir. I am not going to be surprised if we see the Delphox grabbed on the side of Jungle Griefers instead. Then, as we know that they have played Delphox Jungle very well. And yes, we are going to see that Delphox grab on the side of Jungle Griefers.
It makes total sense. You either want to ban it on the side of Jungle Griefers, or you want to pick it for yourself. If you want to deal specifically with that range from the Gardevoir, getting that ban onto the Decidueye is very important too. Very
Yep.
curious to the fact that, at least from the side of wasted potential, they actually prioritize versus us. They prioritize actually rocking the Decidueye before the Gardevoir. So actually getting that special attacker on the back line, again, super important from their side. What's going to be also pretty curious is what they are going to pick here. Blissey is still on the board, which is actually kind of curious in my opinion, Animated Eagle.
Yeah, we see that Blissey's still on the board. If I was wasted potential, I would be looking to ban some kind of all-rounder that you're not going to want your Urshifu to go up against, or the Mew. Mew's also a very excellent ban because we do know Jungle Griefers does play Mew as well in that bot lane. And it looks like Jungle Griefers will be choosing to pick up a Mon next. If I was them, I would probably grab Sylveon, I think, here, and running that as their attacker, or as we do see them, they grab their all-rounder Machamp. Still surprised by how much Machamp has skyrocketed in the pick rate in this later half of the format.
Yeah, Machamp being the pick from the side of Jungle Griefers, you're still going to be missing a support on their side, or probably a second attacker if you want to get Machamp to actually go onto those.
Oh, they're gonna utilize Slowbro as their support. That's
Ooh, okay.
support.
Okay.
Yep.
Actually going Snorlax on the side of wasted potential. So what do you think of this matchup between Snorlax and Slowbro?
I'm thinking that this is definitely going to go in favor of Slowbro here. I mean, it's just going to turn into a Slowbro's able to stop any form of dive that Urshifu can bring, so that Delphox is going to be able to free cast all that at once. And then Slowbro's not really worried about getting picked up by or getting carried away by block by his Snorlax. Because if Snorlax is trying to grab the Slowbro and then pull it away from the rest of its team, it's just not gonna it's not gonna be very well for him, because it's a Slowbro. It's one of the tankiest mons in the game. We are gonna see a Greninja pickup coming out of the side of Jungle Griefers. Very interesting choice here. I'm curious about what's gonna end up going into the jungle and what's gonna end up actually laning on the side of Jungle Griefers.
So a lot of the time that we're actually gonna see, it's usually the Delphox that goes in the lane, and you gotta keep that Greninja actually speed up the process of leveling up. Um, that being said, I feel like if Greninja is actually going to stack with attack weights, it's a lot better for you to actually use him in lane and have the Delphox evolve as fast as possible with the final evolution. Because I feel like Fennekin and Breakshin in particular are pretty weak mons, especially when you're trying to deal with the likes of, for example, an Urshifu or even a Snorlax at the beginning of the game. But they do have the advantage of the fact that we're seeing a lot of parity in between the Pokemon right now, animated Eagle, because Cinderace and Gardevoir are very similar to Greninja and Delphox in the sense that they are very farm heavy Pokemon that need to level up as fast as possible. So I feel like Jungle Griefers actually made that recognition as soon as we the potential pick the Cinder at the end and figured, okay, I think we have some leeway in the early game to be a little passive just to give us enough time to actually get both the Greninja and the Delphox to the appropriate level for those team fights and those objective controls.
Yeah, I completely agree. I am not going to be surprised if we see Delphox jungle, Greninja going lane. Definitely, the way that I imagine this getting set up here is we're going to see a Machamp Slowbro top lane with Trevenant Greninja bot lane with Delphox jungle, and that's my assumption based on my own knowledge of the Jungle Griefers team. On the side of wasted potential, I would not be surprised seeing the Urshifu Hoopa up in top lane with Snorlax. Well, no. I'll take that back. It would probably be Snorlax, Urshifu in top lane because I think they did that last game with Hoopa running bot lane with their with the Guard of War. I think is what I'm going to expect to see here.
Yeah, I think Real Jess, since she's going to be rocking the Guardy, it's going to be a lane Gardevoir, and we're going to have Bloomer actually going into the jungle, which is a similar setup to what they had with the Decidueye. So the main attacker is going to be in the jungle, rocking the full heal, and Dispenza, it's looking like it's going to be a lane Greninja as well because we are seeing the attack weights on their side, and getting that a muscle band obviously super important. Now Solo TV actually rocking the Spoon on their side, as well as the choice specs just to give some extra damage in. So the debate whether or not Slick Spoon is good, I think, has been put to rest. I think Slick Spoon is actually an excellent item, especially if you're a special attacker, and especially if you're Espeon. So it's going to be super important for Delphox in particular to make use of that extra damage that they're going to have, just because you're actually sacrificing the cooldown reduction that another item could give you.
Yep. One thing I want to note, though, it is actually Dispenza playing Greninja. Dispenza is Jungle Griefer's jungler. So we might actually be seeing Greninja going into the jungle. We'll actually find out. Yep, and we are seeing that happening right now. Very interesting gameplay coming out here. Deciding to let the attacker take the Fennekin into lane while Dispenza plays the Greninja into the jungle. Really interesting choices. I know Dispenza really loves playing Delphox and has done a ton of games on it. I was surprised he didn't take it into jungle with him.
Yeah, first goals already on the side of Jungle Griefers. Getting a couple of stacks in if you're Machop, is forced to run away that time around. We are seeing the Suns actually coming in by the Hoopa. Machop pretty low, but manages to escape. Just gonna grab that fruit and go back. Now, both of these lanes are going to be super important to actually get those level ups as fast as possible. Managing to secure, I believe the Slowpoke does it. And we are seeing the Reboot actually give that back up. So, Animated Eagle, I'm curious to see, most of the priority in team fights goes to the bottom lane. But the top pressure, it seems like there's always a 3 versus 3 on top. What do you think that is?
I think right now it's mostly just for the all-rounders. Being the higher level as an all-rounder will win you the early game in that round. So like right now you saw it here, Machamp was able to hit 5 before the Urshifu, allowing for the Machamp to be a dominant factor in this top lane. And now you're seeing now that Dispenza as the attack weight on the jungle will now be able to go ahead and grab some points, and he'll be able to stack up that attack weight that he has. And that's the reason why you see a lot of the times that jungles particularly go top lane, is because this is the way for you to get that kind of early pressure in a lane to allow you to get a higher farm lead, being able to get that all-rounders kind of pushed up, because now you're seeing right now that Urshifu is level locked. Sadly, Machamp ends up going down excuse me. The Hoopa was able to stun it long enough to hurry up and kill it off, as we missed 8-minute Bs, but that does look to have gone onto the side of Jungle Griefers. And you can see how his winning that top lane allowed for Greninja to have this huge level advantage over Wasted Potential's their
We're
jungler.
moving in now, 1v1 situation. Cross trap gonna come in for the match choke, but managing to run away. Gotta get that extra fruits. Gates a couple of fruits in its K. And 20 seconds left on the board for the bottom. Reggie's continue on to level up. And this is one of the things that's actually super curious, the fact that we have actually two all-rounders just fighting versus each other for the farm just to get those level ups as fast as possible. 9 seconds left on the board that time. Rotation, so we should potential actually choosing to go top instead of contesting the bottom side. Curious decision now that Reggie Steele is going to be on the board.
Yep, and again, we're seeing another first objective Reggie Steele. I do understand the decision, though. Waste Potential lost their bottom pad, so it makes it really tough to try to play for that bottom lane. I believe they just decided to cut their losses, go top lane, and hope that they can get an advantage up there. Maybe break that top lane goal and try to get some more EXP for Wasted Potential here. But we are, as we're seeing here, they were not able to get any noticeable, anything noticeable out of this top lane push, as Jungle Griefers are now pushing the advantage up here in top lane. Oh my gosh, Hammers coming out left and right out of this Trevenant, really decimating that enemy team there.
Yeah, beautiful math on the side of Jungle Griefers as well. Greninja had 40, now switching back onto the objective. It's pretty much 207 to 47, but because of the state of the game, Animated Eagle, however advantage that Jungle Griefers could have, it could be mitigated by the fact that the late game is still going to be the main objective from both teams. We are seeing the defense on that side. Unite Move is going to put on the pressure from everybody. Yep, Gardevoir is going to go down, and everybody that's trying to defend it as well. That's a double from the side of the Greninja. Unite Move completely missed from the side of Machamp, but they do not care. That is another zone with another objective. Jungle Griefers is looking very, very good.
Yep, I couldn't agree more right now. This seems like a dominant performance out of Jungle Griefers here, as that Machamp decides to go ahead and walk away. That Machamp, again, is already level 10 and level 12 coming out of the Greninja here. That is a very strong level lead. If this Machamp can get level 13 off early, again, it's running the Cross Chop build. So you got to remember, as soon as Cross Chop hits level 13 and you can upgrade it, this Machamp will be able to start stacking a permanent attack boost over to its damage, making it almost impossible here. Guardy goes down, but it was able to get an ult off fast right before it went left. But it does not matter. This is, again, going to be another team fight going on to the side of Jungle Griefers.
Yeah, Dispensa is doing such a good job of finding those flanks. Even actually going in a horizontal direction towards the team, they managed to locate exactly what type of Pokemon they actually have to go for. That's been 2 Unites with Dispensa that have been pretty much immaculate as we're going for another team fight. Unite Move coming in by the Delphox and everybody else trying to go onto the trampoline, but as soon as you get it, you're going to get hit by that Unite Move by the Delphox. Super important double kill from the side of the Urshifu, though, if you want to keep up. At the same time, Dispensa, another one with a level.
Yep, sorry to cut you off there. Again, great defense on the side of Wasted Potential here. They were able to defend that without losing too much. I mean, they only lost, what was that, 43 points ended up going into the side of that T2 goal. Or I'm sorry, only 4 points ended up going into that T2 goal. And they were able to pick up how many kills with that? 2, 3 kills?
Yeah, about 2 kills on that side. And they all went to the Urshifu, who's already in level 11. The level differential is still going to be pretty marked with Machamp level 12 and level 13 Greninja. Cinderace has pretty much been a non-factor on this side, however. We're seeing Trevenant actually going onto the left side, trying to get that flank onto the back line, and Gardevoir actually taking out the Slowbro, moving in with the move hammer. The Trevenant is Hyperspace Portal, trying to make people recover as fast as possible. 3 members of Jungle Griefers versus 1 Urshifu, who is forced to run away. No Wicked Blow can save your life. Now that's a 2v1 scenario. We're going to get that Cross Chop in. Wood Hammer trying to stun him, but the Wicked Blow is actually going to do pretty much good damage. Dashes back. And we see the Regieleki actually being contested by Jungle Griefers. It looks like they might secure it as fast as possible, but the Cinderace is actually being a nuisance on that top side. Fire Blast coming in. Oh, Cinder is pretty much in danger. Just managed to go away with the Blaze Kick, but the Surf from the Slowbro responding back quite heavily. Wicked blows from the Urshifu. That's a double by the Slowbro. You said that was a support. I do not believe you. Slowbro doing a lot of damage in the early and mid game.
Oh my gosh, and might I say, that is Dispenza, a level 14 Greninja right now in this game, coming into this late game Rayquaza fight. Again, dominant lead on the side. Gardevoir is level 13 on the side of Wasted Potential, but I mean, that's the only one. Oh, I'm sorry, Cinderace did just manage to hit level 13. So, not too bad of a level lead on the side of Waste Potential now I'm looking at it. Only about a 1 level differential between these teams. Oh, but that Urshifu is going to be caught out and deleted. Oh, major unfortunate gameplay there.
Yeah, a little bit of mispositioning by the side of the Urshifu. They are moving towards the rotations, but Jungle Griefers know that they don't have to rip this right now. They are dominating the game, and we are seeing actually a little bit of a back dunk. That's 80 points towards the middle. They do manage to take it to
but Jungle Griefers are getting deleted right now. Gardevoir did not die. Oh no, Gardevoir is still alive. This is not looking good for the side of Jungle Griefers. Machamp ended up missing, and it looks like Machamp's missing a lot of his abilities, and he might go down here.
Oh my god, they need to be careful now. Almost all of the Pokemon from the side of Jungle Griefers have completely disappeared, but they just continue to rack up those points as fast as possible. Wasted Potential really struggling according to the game. 1 minute left on the board. That Rayquaza is just up to half of life. Heavy Slam actually going to come in.
Delphox
interrupt the Delphox. And it's going to go on the side of Wasted Potential. Now they're going to start running away. Unite move coming in by the Delphox, but they managed to go down. This is exactly the comeback that Wasted Potential needs. That's 100 by the Gardevoir, and that's 100 by the Urshifu. 100 on the bottom side as well. That's 447. But 100 points by the
extra 100 coming out of the
Snorlax. Oh my god, it is oh my god, it's a 5-point differential from both teams. And it's 20 seconds left on the board as we go on to the final stretch. Jungle Griefers just about to probably take it if the Machamp doesn't get a couple extra points on the board. 10 seconds left, and everybody else trying to move
go down,
in. The
and now
Gardevoir
it's
actually
gonna
moving
be
downward 4 seconds. The MVP goes to Gardevoir. 34 additional points. Wasted Potential. Like I mentioned at the mid-game animated Eagle, this is not over until the fat Blissey sings. This is a win for Wasted Potential from the depths of defeat.
Yep, this is a major misplay coming out of Mad Max here. Choosing to score that he had 40 points, which doubled, made it 80 points of their home goal. Just made it so that he wasn't there for the important team fight that basically decided this these last 2 minutes here. You gotta recognize and you gotta respect a Hoopa ulti that it could always come in. You cannot just think of, oh, we picked off their Urshifu, so now I'm free to leave this fight and not have to worry because their Urshifu might respawn, but it won't be able to walk back into mid in time. No. Hoopa ult just happens right when Urshifu was on like 1 second left of its timer, and then suddenly it's a 4v5 over in that mid objective, and your Machamp is just not there.
Yeah, Mix Mats really tried to do whatever she could do, especially trying to rack up enough lead for Jungle Griefers' side so that Rayquaza was not going to be a factor. While I understand the decision that Mix Mats actually went for, she actually, because she wasn't in the team fight, it was a lot more difficult for her to actually try to get they were just separated overall, right at the end of it. And sometimes what you need to do is just defend the objective rather than continue to rack up the points, because again, you had a solid lead. It was a pretty surmountable one at that, but Wasted Potential made the call, and as soon as they realized that it was a 4 versus 5 scenario, they do have the players necessary to make said comeback. So the adaptations from game 2 are going to be super important for both sides.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious about how this next picks and bans section go. Again, wasted potential. They had a dominant performance coming into that first 8 minutes of the game. They just had one mistake, and that made them lose the game in that last 2 minutes of the game here. So definitely, I'm curious to see how these teams will change up their prio picks and their prio bans coming into this game too.
Going to be super important as well from their side. Again, everybody from the side of Jungle Griefers, I felt like they played super well. But in the clutch moments, wasted potential, you have to really think about it, Animated Eagle. The momentum that you get once you start running a little bit of the gauntlet, it's gonna be so curious if wasted potential can actually potentially make this upset. Oh my god, potential. No
Yeah,
pun
that
intended.
Gardevoir managing to live, what is it, after the Slowbro ulted it just managed to sneak its way out of that team fight on 1 HP. Really saved wasted potential, I think. I don't know what it was. I think it was Dispenza just happened to miss surf. I think Dispenza was trying to surf away while also killing the Gardevoir, but just barely missed the Gardevoir with the damage. I don't know. I need to see a replay on that to be sure. I might be wrong. But that Gardevoir being able to go back and then come back with full HP to immediately start ripping that objective, I think really saved waste potential this fight.
Yeah, but Jungle Griefers is one of the top teams in the league for a reason. It's just a matter of resetting and trying again. And like we mentioned beforehand, like this was a game that they had in the palm of their hands and it just slipped right between their fingers as we're going right into the second ban. So Dodrio, Glaceon, and Comfy all being banned from their sides.
Yep, and
Another
there's
super
again
priority.
same bands that we've seen last time so far. No change up here for this second round of this third set games. Excuse me. I'm curious about what Jungle Griefers is going to choose to do. Wouldn't be surprised if they decided to target brands, something that they felt like they struggled a little bit with here. If it was a Gardevoir target ban, I would not be surprised right now.
Yeah, I felt like Mixed Mats as well had some impact with the Machamp, especially when it came to fighting in the back lines and trying to pick people out. But I don't think it's going to be so necessary as to actually ban it in the first place. Delphox is going to be a priority pick, and they actually go for the Slowbro, which I actually really like a lot on the side of Jungle Griefers, first picking Espeon this time around. So this is actually going to be one of the few times that we are going to see Espeon played. Most of the teams are actually opting to just ban the special attacker, and I do not blame them.
Yep. Espeon, one of the dominant, I think it's the dominant lane mon in the game right now, the lane attacker. If you have Espeon on your team, whatever lane that Espeon is, if it doesn't win early game, I will be surprised. Like, if you have Espeon in your lane with you, you should win that early game.
Going for the first two picks as well. Arguably some of the best picks that you can go for. Urshifu, obviously best all-rounder right now, and Trevenant slowly creeping onto that best defender status, especially with that Woodhammer build.
Yep, Woodhammer doing a massive amount of damage while also being incredibly tanky. This Mon has like really glowed up since its buff. Like they could not have made me happier with those Trevenant buffs that they gave it. What was it? A few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. It's just a
Yep,
couple
here.
of weeks ago, Woodhammer being super friendly for the tree Pokemon. We are seeing from the side of Jungle Griefers actually going for the Snorlax, which is already in the logo, so I do not blame him for picking it, and actually running the Delphox. So I'm expecting possibly the Gardevoir to be picked here again.
Yep. If I was wasted potential, I mean, you just grab the thing that you're comfortable with. You know, if you don't grab Gardevoir now, Jungle Griefers is very likely to ban it out next rotation. I would not be surprised with a Gardevoir pick here. Looks like they are picking. Do-do-do-do. Oh, well, it looks like we're going to have to wait. It looks like they're thinking about it. They want to pick up the Decidueye first. which I don't think I would hate. I think I'd be fine with either Decidueye grab or a Guardy grab.
Mm. They are
Looking
taking a
on this,
little bit, so they need to be careful not to actually have the time expire on them. They're taking a little bit of time from wasted potential side. It's probably could be something along the lines of maybe it just froze on their end, which is perfectly understandable as well. Um, but yeah, if it's not a Guardy, what else do you expect for them to pick here?
if it's not a Gardevoir, I expect a Decidueye. I think it needs to be one or the other. Oh, they choose to go for the Blissey instead. Interesting choice. Uh, I will say now the field kind of goes on to Jungle Griefer's side. I think what is it? Jungle Griefer's his first pick, if I remember correctly. No, they're not. No, they're not. It's Waste Potential is going to be first pick whenever picks and bans go. So they will be able to ensure that they get either a Decidueye or a Gardevoir. But I'd be curious about what Jungle Griefers decides to ban out of those two mons.
Yeah, I'm thinking you should definitely ban the Gardevoir just because most of this game is going to be either crowd control or area of effect damage. And if you take away that tool from the side of wasted potential, the team fights are going to be a lot better for you to manage, especially if you're going to have Espeon and Delphox just tossing out different moves like the Fire Spin, the Fire Blast, and obviously Psyshock, Psybeam, if that's what they choose to go for the Espeon. The Hoopa is going to be the ban from the side of wasted potential because they don't want to deal with any type of rotation that could banish it. And the Decidueye ban actually from the side of Jungle Griefers is pretty curious. So
Yeah,
one of the
I
two things that you actually
actually
went for animated.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to agree with this Decidueye ban here. Decidueye looked really good onto the side of wasted potential. Decidueye not only being a great form of poke damage with its shackle, really good counter into the Espeon and Delphox just because it has more range than those two mons. But also Decidueye would have given wasted potential the burn that they need on these objectives so that this Urshifu can secure with Wicked Blow. So being able to ban that out, they kind of stop that kind of synergy forming on the side of wasted potential. Like, sure, you give up the Gardevoir, but at least it doesn't synergize. At least the Gardevoir does not synergize nearly as well as the Decidueye did. And now waste potential does decide to go ahead and pick up that Cinderace and let that Cinderace be that burn that they were missing out on.
Yeah, I feel like the Cinderace needs to have a little bit more presence in the early game this time around, especially trying to get those early advantages from the side of wasted potential. Jungle Griefers really put the hands on wasted potential's throats from the get-go because of that early pressure. So it's going to be super important for the reboot, especially in that first rotation, to try to get some stuff going. Jungle Griefers is
Ooh.
opting to go for the Wigglytuff. So a lot of Sings, a lot of AoE, a lot of crowd controls. We are going to see a lot of stuns from their side. If they're not going to be stunned by the Espeon, they're going to get stunned by the Wigglytuff. And if not, they're going to get at least knocked back by the Snorlax's Heavy Slam. So again, Jungle Griefers really opting to go balls to the wall when it comes to just getting that crowd control in.
Yeah, really interesting choice out of the Wigglytuff. I would not be surprised if this ends up being a rollout Wigglytuff instead of a Sing Wigglytuff. Sing does really bad into Urshifu and Blissey, especially. So I'm definitely curious to see what ends up happening with this Wigglytuff and what it does decide to go into.
Blastoise rounding up Jungle Griefer's composition. Really trying to target ban on to Palmer, who likes to use that Blastoise a lot. We could be seeing, it's an Urshifu and Cinderace doing a lot of the damage load. Are we seeing another attacker here?
I think they need to run some kind of lane attacker, something early game. I think I would prefer out of them. A Cramorant, I think, would be really good here. I'm trying to think of something else. Sylveon would also be really good here.
Mixmat hasn't picked yet, I think. So a Cramorant is not out of the realm of possibility.
Mixed Meds is on Jungle Griefer's side.
Oh, that's why. That's what I meant exactly. That's why I meant that cannot
I
pick
would
it,
say-
obviously, because they already have their 5 Pokemon, but they actually opt for the Sylveon, which goes in line with what you said before, Eagle. A lot of presence, especially onto the lanes. I think it's a solid pick from Wasted Potential.
Yep, solid pick. You're also Sylveon is looking down the throat of 4 special attackers on the side of Jungle Griefer's side. Honestly, all the damage on Jungle Griefer's side is special attack based. So Mystical Fire Sylveon is looking incredibly good here, especially if it's getting some healing from Blissey. This is looking like a very scary team on the side of Wasted Potential. If I was a betting man, I would have placed all of my channel points on the side of Wasted Potential. But let's take a look here at these not picks and bans. Ooh, these held item loadouts. As we see, anything interesting standing out to you?
Nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe the weakness exploit onto the Urshifu. It's not something that I usually see. Greeny Tea is actually running an experience share with the defender, which is something that we actually see a lot as well. A couple of buddy barriers on the side of Jungle Griefers too. Real Jess actually running for the Slick Spoon with Sylveon. Now, this is actually super interesting because the build has actually changed because of the adaptation from the Slick Spoon.
Yeah,
most of the time that we see Sylveon, they really like to run Muscle Band, Rapid Fire, Scarf, and Focus Band for that extra defense. But we could be seeing a little bit of a shift and just going directly onto a special attack just because of the new items. They're giving them a lot more priority in that aspect.
Yeah, I'll also be curious. Those are also the same held items that you would want to be running if you were running a Screamer, if you wanted to be running the Hyper Voice Sylveon.
Yeah.
So now it's a real question on what build what moveset does this Sylveon decide to run? I think I would much prefer the what's it called? The Mystical Fire build. Yeah, I would much prefer the Mystical Fire build on Sylveon in this game, but I would not be upset to see a Hyper Voice either.
Yeah, I feel like if they want more presence, especially in the early game, you go Hyper Voice just to make sure that the opponent does not continue to level up as fast as possible. And we are seeing Fennekin actually getting a lot of those points right at the early game. Already at 11 points, level 4 now, just evolving into the breaks, and Eevee falling a little behind with those Indeedis. So far so good on the side of Jungle Briefers, actually getting that first zone blood, if you will, getting those 6 points for that dunk.
Yep. And again, we're seeing the Fennekin go lane instead of jungle, allowing the Espeon to instead take the jungle instead. Really interesting choices coming out of Jungle Griefers, some plays that I haven't seen out of them, I think, all season. So that's very interesting here. I'm curious to see how it works out for them.
Yeah, Dispenza with Psyshock in its build, it's going to be super interesting. Kutfu still level 4 right now, so most of the farm is going to go pretty divided on the other side. And with that said, Breakson actually taking down the tree on the bottom. And Hyper Voice is actually going to try to zone them out, but like you mentioned before, Eagle, it could be pretty difficult, especially if you have that Espeon underway.
Yep. We see that Psyshock does end up confirming that one little piece of farm up there in top lane, as now we're seeing the Fennekin go ahead and take second rotation of jungle, and I'm assuming all the jungle going forward here and just letting the Espeon just stay lane.
Yeah, 5 seconds left. Minute 8 trying to go in. So I really like that choice from the side of Jungle Griefers. It's something that we've been seeing a lot lately, trying to get that priority on to somebody that has a big power spike right at the beginning, and then you just switch up the jungle. So it's pretty good rotation from the side of Jungle Griefers, who have 56 points on the board right now. Now everybody else is trying to force themselves to defend this bottom side, and we have, in the meantime, the War Turtle and the Urshifu just duking it out on top. So it's a 4-1 composition from both teams. A slight advantage is definitely going to go to the side of Jungle Griefers. That's a Side Shock, Side Beam, Heavy Slam going to come in. The Reboot managing to escape. I believe it was the full heal that actually saved the life of the Reboot there.
Yep, and we do see that bottom tower going down early. And it looks like we're seeing the exact same gameplay out of Wasted Potential. They lose that bottom tower, so they're immediately going to start rotating up top lane to try to take the top objective instead.
Yeah, exactly as you mentioned before in the first game, Eagle. Once you have that zone on the bottom just pretty much destroyed, it's a lot better for you to just actually go for the rotation towards the next objective. Yes, you are going to be losing a lot of experience just because you have global EXP on the bottom side, but if you manage to secure this on the side of Wasted Potential and you actually push well onto that first zone, it could give you an advantage right at the beginning, which is exactly what you need. If you're Wasted Potential, Unite move is actually going to zone everybody out. Regieleki just about to enter the zone, but good defense on the side of Jungle Griefers. Now Wasted Potential actually forced to go back. 5-man rotation on both sides. So far, so good from Jungle Griefers though, 104 to nothing. Similar to the beginning of the first game.
Yep. Espeon does have ulti here, and it looks like they are looking to still stay really aggressive here, but Cinderace is still right around the corner. Cinderace is also level 9 with ultimate here, and we are going to see it being popped right now. Sylveon just got its ultimate right in time and now starting to use it. Oh, good call out from the Espeon there, deleting that Cinderace, and now they are going to finish up that fight. But they will not be able to push as Trevenant and Blissey finally make it up into that top lane to help defend that lane.
Yeah, it makes sense for them to actually fall back. You do not want to go 2v1 versus the tree right now. And now we're seeing Wigglytuff actually putting the hands onto the Wicked Blower. Shifu manages to escape just in time. But if you get hit with a couple more of those double slaps, you're going to have a bad time.
Yep. Again, very dominant performance coming out of Jungle Griefers right now, early game. We still haven't seen Waste Potential score at all in lane. We see top side, they are choosing to press on top of that Snorlax. Let's see if they will be able to land any scores. Nope, they have way too many points, and that Snorlax is not losing any health right now.
Yeah, but they do recognize that there are people onto the bottom side. They're actually going to start rotating onto bottom as well because they recognize, hey, most of them are on top, so let's go ahead and go for that 2v5 that could benefit us, especially if we want to get that extra EXP. And actually moving in with the Fire Blast. Now the horns unfortunately just getting stuck on the wall. Wood Hammer making sure that the Wigglytuff stays back. Delphox trying to do it the best that they can to actually zone him out. X speed's gonna come out. Leech, Horn Leech actually hitting him. The hammer gonna get dropped. Now secured Reggie Steel, so extra attack and special attack for Wasted Potential. Unite moves coming out by the Snorlax one more time. Unite move by the Urshifu. That's a wicked blow. That's gonna
miss
in the mark. A little bit of a side dive play by the Urshifu, who just goes down.
But he's still got a
two.
kill.
That's a double.
Got a nasty wicked blow right before dying, managing to pick off both of the attackers on the side of Wasted Potential. Nasty wicked blow there that worked out for him. And Wasted Potential is going to have to fall back so they can try to defend that top lane Aleki push.
Yeah, went from a side duck to a gold duck play for the Urshifu, getting that double. Just making sure to get some extra damage and experience in level 11s for the Urshifu and the Cinderace. And on the side of Jungle Griefers, level 12 now for Delphox, and level 11s for Espeon, now level 12, level 11 for the Blastoise. So again, we are in a similar situation to the first game where the level differential, even though most of the points, if not all the points, are going on the side of Jungle Griefers, most of the time the Wasted Potential is doing is actually trying to defend in those clutch moments and not stay as behind as you need to be now that we are approaching the 2-minute mark.
Yep. And again, we're in a situation where it's actually a bad thing that Wasted Potential does not have still has their goals up, because now Wasted Potential is being able to get additional EXP from all those Adinos that they have on their side of the field. Where Jungle Griefers is not able to get any of that extra EXP because they still have all their towers up.
That's a very good point, Eagle. Like you mentioned beforehand, it's better if you go
40
into
cap
the
goes
mid to
in.
late game. Yeah, 40 cap on the top side, bottom. Regirock pretty much gonna go away on the side of Jungle Griefers, but they're trying to actually take out the Blastoise before the last team fight is gonna go underway with 15 seconds left as the Rayquaza is just about to come out. Yeah, it's going to be super important for Wasted Potential to actually secure this objective one more time. We saw it in the first game. Let's see if they are able to do it again. Rotations from both teams right in the middle, and Rayquaza spawns.
Yeah, we are seeing a little bit of poke damage on the side of Wasted Potential as they are looking to try to drag a fight into here. Does not want to waste any time. Ooh, Fire Spin goes out. Ooh, big damage on the tree. It does manage to get out there. They are getting pushed into a corner. Oh, Blissey ult comes out of nowhere with the Urshi ult doing huge damage onto the attackers. And let's see here. Espeon did end up dying. Delphox manages to get away, but just barely. Spin to win going after that. Cinderace does manage to get that kill as Blastoise tries to get out.
Yeah,
And it looks like we're going to have to go into a refight here.
Actually, Shield's coming up by the side of Blissey. Everybody's going to start respawning one more time, and we are going to see a little bit of an overdunk here if they don't stop them. Trevenant is going to go down.
Trevenant will go down.
Yep, Blissey actually scoring 78 points. And there's 1 minute left on the board. Now Cinderace trying to rack up the damage as much as possible. Snorlax trying to be a nuisance right in that front line. Urshifu trying to go in onto the Blastoise. But now look at all that damage from the Blastoise and the Delphox. They are forced to move away. Fire spins with a couple of stuns themselves. This fight is getting pretty hairy. 40 seconds left on the board. All that Jungle Reapers need to do is defend. They don't have to do this Rayquaza right now. Oh, look at all that damage.
Cinderace got so low.
Oh, Blastoise finishing off the Cinderace. That's a double kill on the side of Sylveon. Jungle Reapers just sweeps it away. The only one left is going to be the Blissey, but at what cost? Rayquaza is definitely going to get ripped by Jungle Griefers, and we are definitely going to Game 3.
Yep, and definitely going to end up going into the Game 3. Honestly, excellent plays coming out of both sides. Wasted Potential. That was a beautiful Blissey Urshi ult. That was a beautiful Blissey Urshi ult combo to deal massive damage to those attackers early on. The fact that Delphox was able to get out of that is props to the Delphox. And honestly, I don't think either team should feel bad going into that. They both played to their win conditions, and it worked out for them wonderfully.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was a little scary, especially when that Unite move hit by the Urshifu. They did manage to take away Dispenza, but Solo doing a really good job of just trying to space out as much as possible and surviving until the end, just to continue to defend the corresponding Rayquaza. Mixed Mads doing the best that she could do as well, and making sure that Bloomer was non-existent in that last team fight. Just about to go down with the Cinderace, and just coming in as soon as they realize that, just moving in with the Rapid Spin Water Spout. This is just stuff you have to do, especially if you want to rock it. And now going into Game 3, momentum seems to be favored on the side of Jungle Griefers this time around.
Yep, I'm definitely interested to see what ends up happening here for these picks and bans, for these third rotation picks and bans. Again, last time when we were expecting some changes, we were seeing very similar bans on both teams. I'm wondering if we will actually see something new happen here, especially on these first bans here. And Chopper, I'm going to have to leave you alone by yourself for a little bit. I will be right back.
That's perfectly fine. Thank you so much to Animated Eagle for being here. From the side of hashtag Team Drip, who will be playing tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm just going to hold down the fort, just as Animated Eagle did as soon as I was playing today. So, just as a recap, we saw Team Aura Esports actually go down to EXP's Elite Four 2-1, and then Wasted Potential actually taking it 2-0 versus EXP's Elite Force. Now we're going into a Game 3 scenario for Wasted Potential and Jungle Griefers. Meanwhile, tomorrow's matches, we're going to have Team Roqueto versus Super Squirtle Squad being the first games played. Hashtag Team Drip is going to fight the winner of that match, and then the winner of said match is going to go to the next round versus Dark Aura in the Gauntlet stage to try to qualify for that top 4 spot. Just keep in mind, both of these teams are just one game away to qualify for that top 4 double elimination bracket. Waiting on that side is going to be War Legion and Ikigai no Tsurugi, which are the top teams of the league right now. super important placings and super important play overall as we continue to wait for that draft to start off. The Greeny Tea, Palmer, Bridget, Real Jest, and Boomer have an opportunity in their hands to pull out the upset win according to the standings. And Dispenza, Russ, Solo TV, Cape Frazier, and Mix Mads doing immaculate defense towards the end. And just focusing on that, that was the pretty much the one weakness that they saw in the first game. So Wasted Potential has a little bit of a hill to climb. The Jungle Griefers recognized the mistake that they made at the beginning of the first game, or rather the end of it. And they realized, okay, we're not doing this again. And we are going to stick with what we know. And the defense of the Rayquaza was impeccable as we move into the final pick and ban phase for game number 3 in the final series of the night. Jungle Griefers versus Wasted Potential.
Yep, and I am back for it. Sorry for the wait.
Boom. No, I was just doing a little bit of a monologue, so you're good.
I feel that you're gonna give out the evil monologue, talk about world domination, fully understand. As we see Dodrio being the first ban from Wasted Potential. Also, I will do my own monologue if I happen to see a submission Machamp in one of these games. For this last game, I would hate it. I'd have to give my evil monologue then.
Okay, Dodrio. Pretty much a band that we were expecting, such as Comfy as well. They're probably going to go for another band here. Not expecting, and yeah, the Espeon is going to get banned because they know the first pick is going to go from Wasted Potential side. Still a couple of supports left on the board. Still a lot of defenders too. The Potential trying to see if they can get something going on their side. What do you think that they need to do, especially when it comes to team composition?
As far as Jungle Griefers, I feel like they need to figure out a way to get both Gardevoir and Decidueye out of the hands of Wasted Potential. Every single time Wasted Potential has rocked one of those two Mons, and I'm curious about what they would run if they didn't have those. Those are the only hyper carries that I've seen on the side of Wasted Potential that I've seen them play, and I'm curious to see what would happen if they didn't have, if they were able to rely on those two to be their hyper carry, what they would play.
Yeah, it seems like target bans or target picks, rather. It could be something that Jungle Weavers could actually take advantage of as well. And always the potential side, still waiting for it. They do not want to deal with the Blastoise, and I do not blame them. Water Spot, Rapid Spin, especially with the type of compositions that we are seeing from the side of Wasted Potential, it makes a lot of sense to actually just ban it out because they don't want to deal with a turtle.
Yep, and we see the Slowbro as the first pick on the side of Wasted Potential. An excellent first pick. Oh, I just realized it's the first time that they've let the Glaceon go through for Jungle Griefer, to Jungle Griefer, so that is an instant pickup for them. And then they grab Trevenant as their second pick.
You have the Slowbro on their side, however. So it's going to be pivotal for that Slowbro to actually target that Glaceon as much as possible and to not get it going. Target bans from the previous 2 games on the side of Wasted Potential, but they realize, Blastoise can deal a lot of DPS to a lot of people at once, and it's a really solid defender overall, especially from the side of Jungle Griefers. And now actually picking the Urshifu up from the side of Wasted Potential, we could be seeing the support here, but actually rocking the Decidueye. So moving along the lines of what you were saying before, Eagle, maybe pick or ban the Decidueye Gardevoir combination.
Yep, they now have the Decidueye in their hands. They have that strong core of an Urshifu, Slowbro, Decidueye. Slowbro to, ult something that's about to that might be contested to secure an objective. Urshifu, Wicked Blow to actually secure an objective, and now you have a Decidueye to actually burn that objective. So now these next 2 picks on the side of Wasted Potential can all be spent around, what's good stuff to counter Jungle Griefers grabs, like what's good for a team fight kind of picks. Now that they have this kind of like utility, objective, secure foundation on their side.
Just waiting for that final pick.
From Jungle Griefers here. What would you be interested in Jungle Griefers picking up right now?
It's actually pretty hard to say. We haven't been seeing a lot of domination from their side. They're actually going for Wigglytuff. So again, a similar situation to what we
Another
saw
Wigglytuff
in.
grab.
Yeah, they want to go for those stuns. They do not want to deal with any type of damage that they're going to go for, especially if your Shifu most probably going to run that full heal if you can get that away from them. And banning out then Blissey for that final ban is actually super important as well to just deal with that sustain on the side of Wasted Potential's comp. The Elder Gods would be the only remaining healer. We do have Mr. Mime with Power Swap, but that's not as effective as the Blissey would be in a million years. And Clefable obviously banned.
Very interesting here. Really prioritizing that Wigglytuff. Again, not really any teams that I know of are like choosing to play this mon. I thought it was one of the most less used, I guess, supports in the game. But apparently Jungle Griefer is really prioritizing it as Wasted Potential chooses to ban out the Mew.
Yeah, if there was ever a team that's going to pick up Mew is going to be Jungle Griefers just to round up their own composition. We're missing an attacker on their side as well as a possibility of an all-rounder. I'm assuming Glaceon is going to be jungle. So a lot of presence is still going to go down. A lot of the offense is pretty much the responsibility of the Glaceon one. Now that's why we're actually going to rock the Delphox one more time from the side of Jungle Briefers. I'm expecting a Gardevoir pick from the side of Wasted Potential.
Yep, Delphox is done. Jungle Griefer as well in the past. It's going to continue doing well for them. Again, that just the ultimate on Delphox. That ultimate just basically says it all. It's incredibly powerful. No reason not to, especially if they were running the Fire Spin, Fire Blast combo. So even more CC on the side of Jungle Griefers.
And that's what you need. That's what the meta dictates, and that's exactly what you're going to get. And I don't blame them as well. Trevenant is going to be definitely a nuisance. The Wigglytuff is actually a super solid pick here, especially with the Blissey Band. Because most of the stuff that you're actually going to try to go for is actually true damage if you want to deal with Wigglytuff in particular. So the probabilities of you running a T-Tar composition in whatever Wasted Potential wants to do is a lot more minimized if you take out the Blissey. Eldegoss is still available as a healer, but it's just something that, because you're rocking your Shifu, it might be something that they're just not going to go for, or at least don't feel comfortable doing.
Yeah, I would expect Wasted Potential to grab a Hoopa here. I think Hoopa is probably the best support that you can choose. They could also grab Sableye, but I don't like Sableye nearly as much, especially with all the CC that's on Jungle Griefer's team. I think Sableye would be pretty bad. But yeah, as we see, the Hoopa does get picked up by Wasted Potential. I think that's a really good utility mon for them as they choose to go Gardevoir as well. So it looks like to me, Wasted Potential ended up getting nearly everything they would have wanted.
Yeah, gotta pick that Gardevoir, like I mentioned beforehand, but getting the Hoopa, just as you mentioned. So we are pretty on point on the caster side to actually getting those pick and bans. That last pick from Jungle Griefers, I feel like it's gonna be something spicy. We did see the Machamp coming out from their side as an all-rounder, but for some reason I'm thinking this is just gonna be something spicy, something maybe along the lines of a Machamp, for example.
Along the lines of a Machamp, for example. Yeah. This is going to be the time when Ryan comes up, he unmutes himself, and then he talks to us, and he's like, all right, guys, make sure you follow the script. This needs to be a submission Machamp game so that I can go and get all mad. Like, why is there submission Machamp in the game? If you didn't know, Chopper, I don't know if you know this about me, but I absolutely detest submission Machamp.
Well, Submission Machamp actually won us a series versus Team Aura Esports, so I love Submission Machamp.
I'm happy you won a
As
game.
I have to say it, and it has to be done. I told you at least one game was going to have it, but I did not tell you which one. This is definitely got to be it. I mean, it's got to be it. It has to happen while you are casting.
Griefers are
while you are
friends.
casting.
They would not troll me by being like, "Yo, this is tournament game. We're gonna play Submission Machamp."
I think your friends.
And as a game thing tournament game.
I think your friends are going to have to not believe you.
Oh my gosh. Just do the poll so I can drop my 12K channel rewards on Wasted Potential. If I see a submission Machamp, I'm gonna need to drop 12K channel rewards on Wasted Potential.
And now it all
Oh,
comes down to this. The first gauntlet just about to finish up. Team Aura Esports going down, EXP's Elite Force going down. And we're in game 3 between Jungle Griefers and Wasted Potential. Their reward for their victory? A little date with Ikigai no Tsurugi in a double elimination bracket for the top 4. Itemizations coming out from both teams. Real Jess gonna rock the Guardy. On the side of Wasted Potential, Bridget still picking their character. Palmer. A couple of clutch plays on that second game could be all the difference. Bridget actually going for Hoopa that time around. And Greeny T, experienced Share, Slowbro, Bloomer. Trusty Decidueye as any. Mix Mads with the trusty Machamp. Gotta go for it. Russ with the experienced chair. Dispenza Glaceon. Solo TV with the Delphox. Kate Frazier is definitely not an Absol, but we will see what is the pick. I believe that's a Trevenant that's supposed to go there. Trevenant.
They managed to get it.
Okay.
1 second before the game officially starts here, I just want to say, Mixed Mads, interesting build on the Machamp. Double stacking with a lens. I did not notice that previously. That's the first time I've seen it. Definitely an interesting build.
I'm trying to go for the tankier side, but also dealing a lot of damage. It's pretty much similar to what you would run, for example, in a Serena. Just to get that extra sustain in your moves. But let's see what's going to happen now.
Yeah. I think the main thing I'm interested about that build is the choice or the decision to go the Aos cookie instead of a what's called Razor Claw, an item that I heavily believe works really well on Machamp no matter what build you go for.
Well, it depends, because if they're not going to go cross shop and maybe they go submission, you know, it could be something.
Oh my god, you can still rock that item in submission. Dear God, don't show me submission.
Okay, so Wasted Potential doing a little bit better in this beginning of the early game. We are seeing the Jigglypuff on the bottom side actually trying to get some stacks in, but they're actually doing a very, very good defense on their respective zones. Now moving in forwards as 3 members from the side of Wasted Potential actually trying to get that match up, and they do so effectively. Darktrix putting in the work. Glaceon moving forward, trying to get some damage in. Everybody else managing to escape. So first blood for Wasted Potential, super important.
Yeah, super important. That gives Wasted Potential so much pressure up in this top lane when it should have gone over to this Glaceon. If it was if that Machop was still alive, this Glaceon would have provided so much damage early game for it. And it looks like they are now going to be able to start trying to pressure this lane here. But again, it looks like they, because of that early death, gave so much levels over on the side of Wasted Potential, they won't be able to pressure that lane.
Yeah, the advantage that they had at the beginning actually dissipates a little bit because they managed to secure, at least from Jungle Griefer's side, a lot of the Altarias and the Swablus that were right in the middle. So that experience is going to be super important. We already have a Trevenant, and most of them are already level 5. It's pretty much even game, and now Wiggins actually trying to move forward, but the Curlia doing immaculate defense there, and we're still back to 0 energy.
Curlia did not try to do that. That was definitely a misclick. That was definitely, she tried to use what's it called? Future Sight on the piece of farm, and then that thing just flicked on over to the Wigglytuff because it walked out of the punch.
Well, I don't know, Eagle. I like to give the players the benefit of the doubt, and I am going to say it's a big brain play by the Curlia. And now the first few points are going to start going in. 17 points from the side of Jungle Griefers, and Machoke is pretty much alone, stacking up not only damage, but also some cookies.
A little bit of cookie, a little bit of cookie for you, a little bit of cookie for him. Yeah, that's going to be all 6 stacks going to the side of that Machamp. Probably won't rotate down until it hits level 9. Oh, that's a big old kill on that tree there as Wigglytuff just barely gets out alive.
A lot of divisions this time around. 5 members of Wasted Potential trying to go in, and Shifu putting in the work. A couple seconds left on the board. It's going to be another Reggie steal to start off. That extra attack and special attack is going to be super important when it comes to these team fights. Everybody's starting rotating downwards, and now it is secured by Palmer. But at what cost? Everybody from Jungle Griefers just moving in versus every single member of Wasted Potential as the rotations start to come in. Fire spins, fire blasts, and Slowbro still surviving, but that even though there's a double from the side of the Decidueye, it's pretty much a wipeout with a triple kill on the side of the Glaceon.
Yep, you won the fight, you got the objective, but you definitely lost the war there, it seems like. So many deaths went to Jungle Griefers here, managing to get so much EXP off of those extra levels that Wasted Potential ended up getting from securing the objective, it felt like. Because all of those deaths happened after Wasted Potential ended up getting the objective.
120 energy. It's a lead that continues to slowly dissipate as the set goes down. It could indicate that the defense from Wasted Potential side is getting a lot better, but at the same time we're seeing the same, and now burst options from Glaceon super important, and the pressure from the Delphox. Everybody else just forced to run away to the hills. That is another base, another zone for Jungle Griefers. 181 points to nothing, and Mix Mads on the bottom side just putting some extra energy in. And the rotations to Regieleki start off so they can get that objective as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they're going to choose, the defender and support are going to choose to die just to make sure that Jungle Griefers gets that objective at no cost to them. As we see the Machamp just chilling out in that bush there, looking for any kind of kill it can get. As it just chills out there, maybe we'll try to go and get that red buff, in which it will be able to do, as then it just decides to walk away.
Yeah, level 10 Machamp, who unfortunately is not rocking the submission. So no submission Machamp for the number 1 of the playoffs. Animated Eagle is a very happy Eagle at that. We're seeing the rotations actually trying to go in. Unite move one more time by the Delphox, and now we're seeing the pressure actually moving in. Regieleki, however.
Gardevoir comes in, wiping out people.
The stuns from the side of Wasted Potential. They do manage to get the Reggie steal on the side of Jungle Griefers, but they continue to put on that pressure on the bottom side. As a double for the Glaceon, but now they start rotations on to the base, but the Wigglytuff just defending alone versus 3, just about to go down, and Unite move is going to come in, and now Mixmad's trying to sweep away the rest of the members of Wasted Potential. They do manage to take out the Hoopa, and it's 208 to nothing.
Yep, just basically it feels like a reversal of what happened first objective. Whoever ends up getting this first objective in bot lane ends up being the team that dies and loses the team fight immediately afterwards. Really a curious situation. I mean, Wasted Potential does not manage to score any goals, I think, thankfully, or maybe unthankfully, Jungle Griefers is thinking here, because looking at these level differentials, it's a pretty even game all around.
Similar scenarios. It's been 3 straight games of level differential not being that much, because of the fact that the zones are not being able to be exploited. Look at that 5-man ulti by Mixmads does eventually go down, but the defense coming in clutch by the Machamp, and now Wasted Potential seeing an opportunity trying to move in, but now the Unite moves coming in from Jungle Griefers, as well as the Regieleki on the top side. There's 1 minute left before Rayquaza spawns.
Yeah, Wasted Potential was... Yeah, Wasted Potential was able to score 77 points, but swapped 9 lives in response to that and the top objective. So now we're looking at this level differential, and now you suddenly have a level 14 Glaceon and level 12s basically for the rest of the team, versus level 12 being the highest level on the side of Wasted Potential.
And this is such an important Reggie steal too. You need this experience as well as the attack and special attack that the legendary Pokemon can bring you in 15 seconds left on the board. Like you mentioned, the level differential was pretty even up
Ooh, good
until
save.
that 5-man Unite move by Mixmad's Glaceon, really trying to knock everybody out as fast as possible, and Rayquaza spawns.
Yep, Rayquaza spawns. You're looking. I mean, if you're Jungle Griefers, you're very confident in this late game fight. As long as the enemy team does not choose to rip here, we're pretty golden.
Oh,
Oh, the Machamp was not able to get his ulti off. Oh my gosh, ult are going left and right. We're still ripping though. This has just turned it into a rip. The tree managed to swipe it out from under a... No, never mind. I lied.
Oh.
I lied. It was the Urshifu who did manage to get it, but the rest of his team's not alive to utilize it.
Yeah, it was Palmer against the world, managing to secure the Rayquaza, but Glaceon just racking up so much damage. The Fire Spin working out to their favor as well, stunning the Urshifu and getting that last KO. Pretty much a nail in the coffin if Wasted Potential is not able to do the final push. 308 points is still a big lead, but it's if they can play these team fights well, it could be pretty dangerous for Jungle Griefers, especially in these last moments.
Yep, taking a look here at this fight, it looks like they are going to just give up this bottom objective in hopes of trying to do a fight over on the T2. Delphox still does not have its ulti back up, probably the best defensive tool that they have. Machamp did manage to get its ult back, and it looks like it is going to dive in this backline here. Did not manage to pick up any kills, but it does get the Decidueye low. Delphox ult did actually activate, defending the tower, and it looks like Wasted Potential is going to lose all of its people again, and I believe that's going to be game.
And a Quadra to seal it from the Glaceon. He's just going to start putting that psychological 100 points, probably. Nope, because all the Swablu's and the Altarias are actually hitting the Glaceon. 2 seconds left. The time is up. Jungle Griefers, congratulations. You have made it onto the top 4 of the Unite World Coronation League. And for your troubles, you will be facing Ikigai no Tsurugi in that double elimination bracket.
Yep, congratulations to them. I kind of wanted to go take it back to what do you think happened during that late game Rayquaza fight there? Honestly, in my opinion, it honestly looked like everything was going perfectly well for Wasted Potential up until they grouped up just enough for a 4-man tree ultimate to happen, and that continued to CC all 4 of them until they died.
Yeah, you can see not only Kay Frazier being the MVP, I honestly think that that's correct as well in game, because that really determined the last team fight. They did manage to get that pick onto Mixed Match towards the end that could have shifted the momentum drastically for Wasted Potential side. There was an opportunity that they saw, they took it. Unfortunately, like you said, they grouped up too much together, and the Trevenant seized the moment with its own Unite move.
Yep, hits him with the Unite, hits him with the Woodhammer CC to immediately hit him with the Leech Life CC, and during that entire time you're getting rained down by damage by the Glaceon just to, finish one-shotting all of them. It was really sad to see that happen. Great gameplay coming out of both teams, I will say. They both did amazing. And again, congratulations to Jungle Griefers. You are in the top 4 guaranteed for the Unite World Coronation League.
Yeah, the pressure of the gauntlet is over for them in the case that they lose versus Ikigai no Tsurugi. They still have an opportunity to continue on to the next round, because it's a double elimination bracket, folks. So that's going to be it for us tonight. But tomorrow, as you can see on the screen, B bracket will be tomorrow, and then
what, Mr. Producer? Do you mind just unmuting your mic and telling us that way?
And then round 4 will be next week. So Friday's matches, tomorrow's matches. Team Roqueto versus Super Squirtle Squad in the first round of the bracket of the B bracket gauntlet. The winner of that faces #Team Drip with Animated Eagle and company
Let's
and then after
go.
that, the winners of that round will face off with Dark Aura for an opportunity to land in that top 4 spot.
Yep. So as the winner of B bracket, that clearly because I can see the future, I will be happy and I will thank you all for supporting Team Drip as we take the other top 4 position, going up against War Legion coming into next week. Yes. Now you've learned it here, folks. I am capable of seeing the future. And yeah, I hope you guys do stop by tomorrow to watch those games and to support us and support everybody here. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you all there.
Absolutely. And with that, we have finished up tonight. This has been Animated Eagle and Chopper bringing you commentary. Rhino closes off. Seal the deal.
Yes, welcome all, and thank you guys again so much for joining in on the UWC League. I am greatly appreciative of every single one of y'all. Again, all the casters have already said, we have more games tomorrow, baby. Let's go. We have Team Rocketto. We also have Super Squirrel Squad. We have hashtag Team Drip, which that is the team for Animated Eagle. And then we also have Dark Aura to finish off the night. So make sure you guys stay tuned, as I have loved every single game today. They have pretty much all gone to game 3, except for, yeah.
They all went to game 3.
They all went to game 3, didn't they?
Yep.
Except for Wasted Potential, who pretty much destroyed us. But, you know, it is what it is. Sad for us.
Did you? Oh,
No.
yeah, you guys did lose 2-0, didn't you?
It was 2-0, yeah.
Oh, I thought you
Yep.
guys got one. Never mind. I'm so sorry.
I mean,
but,
yes, we did get one. Of course we did.
yes,
Of course
no.
we did.
Great games overall. That's what this bracket's supposed to do. That's what this league is supposed to bring as well. Big, great competitive play, as you guys have seen it here first. I definitely want to say I will see you guys on the flip side. That was Animated Eagle and Chopper. I am Rhino Gaming, and I'll see you guys later, especially tomorrow.